CorwinAuto.com.
I am all about summer.
Oh, me too, because summer is all the things.
All sunshine.
All good times.
All vacay.
And this summer, it's all at Mall of America.
For little ones, there's Crayola Experience with all those hands-on activities.
All-day family fun on Nickelodeon Universe rides.
Take an all-in staycation at Radisson Blu Mall of America, conveniently connected to the mall.
It's all birthday, all party, all summer, because the mall's turning 30.
mallofamerica.com/birthday.
All summer long.
Have you experienced what Catalyst Clinical Spa can do for you? We have created an oasis backed by a highly trained team and a diverse mix of treatments and devices. We have multiple options and technologies at multiple price points for the same skin and body concerns. From natural and non-invasive to powerful and proactive, our collaborative team is here to create a customized plan for you. Call Catalyst at 701-365-8700. Option 2 to schedule a complimentary consult.
Summer comes with all sorts of fairs, festivals, and expositions, which means our area is about to become overrun with carnival barkers, cheese curds, and two-headed cows. But fair season means big savings at Radco, like tonneaus starting at just $279, running boards under $200, and WeatherTech products at the lowest price guaranteed. Thousands of accessories in stock and ready to install. 4101 4th Avenue South in Fargo behind Corwin Honda. Online at radco.com. Radco, celebrating Independence Day every day.
Radco, your truck accessories pro.
Recovering after an illness or injury can be hard. You want to find people to help you who have the skills to help you succeed, but also who make you feel comfortable, heard, and share your values. At Ethos Home Healthcare, our faith plays a huge role in our care. Meet James, a physical therapist assistant at Ethos.
I choose to work for Ethos because they're a faith-based company, and being a home health agency where we're caring for people, I believe faith and compassion is very important because that's why we all went into the healthcare field.
Learn more about Ethos at ethoscare.org.
The construction is almost done at the Gateway Clearance Center, and the construction sale is going strong. No negotiations necessary, and payments starting as low as $99 a month. That's right, payments starting at just $99 a month at the Gateway Clearance Center, with a great selection of clean used cars, trucks, and SUVs. And right now, every vehicle is sale priced. Enjoy extra discounts for the construction sale going on now at Gateway Clearance Center on South University Drive in Fargo, or online at fmclearancecenter.com.
KQWB, West Fargo, Fargo-Moorhead, and KPFX, HD3 Kindred, Bison 1660. Powered by Gateway Chevrolet, Cadillac, Nissan, and Hyundai in Fargo.
And here's what you need to know.
We got some big news involving Major League Baseball where, according to the Athletic, Braves outfielder Marcell Ozuna was arrested this morning and put in jail on a DUI charge. Now, under 15 months ago, he was in police custody on domestic violence accusations. The BMW Championship is happening right now as part of the FedEx Cup playoffs, and Scott Stallings is on a tear here in the second round. 4 under through his first 9 holes. He is -7, tied with the overnight leader Keegan Bradley, who was yet to tee off and will do so at 1:05 Eastern in the afternoon. Russell Henley and Adam Scott are 1 shot off the pace. Henley is the only one that is on the golf course that is 6 under. 2 under through 8 holes is his tally right now. The Panthers will not be playing quarterbacks Baker Mayfield or Sam Darnold in this evening's preseason game against the Patriots. It's P.J. Walker in to start. I'm Brian Fenley.
You've got the Insiders.
How you play today, from this moment on, is how you will be remembered.
That's what living is. The 6 inches in front of your face.
Bringing you what you need to know and a whole lot more. Topics you care about, guests you know, and the conversations you came to hear. The Insiders are presented by Proseed. Need seed? Think Proseed. Now, here are the Insiders.
The Insiders.
The Insiders. The Insiders.
Insiders.
The Insiders.
Andy Rickoff and Bison great Kyle Emanuel.
It is a Football Friday, everybody. Here we go. Welcome on into the Insiders. Andy Rickoff, Kyle Emanuel, Micah Bindi. Gang's all here, rounding out another week, finishing strong. Even Kyle here with us on a Friday. 5-day week for you.
Working on a Friday.
There you go. You guys have practice today, too?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Had scrimmage yesterday, practice today.
by the way, good luck. Shout out to all the high school teams. I believe there are a few that get going tonight, across the state of North Dakota.
A level is starting tonight. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then, we already have a freshman game on Monday and JV. Freshman Monday and then like JV Thursday or something.
Are you helping coach any of those? Do you go to those games or anything?
I don't. I if they're home games, I will. I won't travel to them, no.
Gotcha. Fair enough. So, yeah, good luck. Congratulations to all those teams, and go stay healthy and go get them out there for North Dakota high school football, which gets going tonight. Really in earnest gets going, though, next week with everybody getting involved across this great state and even over into Minnesota as well. And then we know the week after that, at NDSU football, just a couple of weeks away. This weekend and next weekend, the only 2 weekends you got without NDSU football for the foreseeable future.
2 weeks. 2 weeks from Saturday.
I have made the executive decision. I think I can make this as the host of the show.
Okay.
That next week will be the return of Jeff Culhane.
Yeah.
Because Florida State plays LSU in week 0.
That's right.
They play a week earlier than us.
Are you sure he's not going to big time us again?
If he does, I'm just going to call him live. I'm going to cold call him.
Have you confirmed with him yet?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I have told him. I think I'm going to have you on next week. He's like, just let me know.
Because he was supposed to come on when we did the open
draft.
Mm-hmm. And
PJ
he said,
picks.
no, you're in lowly Fargo. I've moved on to big time, and I will not come on. I think those exact words.
Yes, Seminole up, horns down. It was something along those
right
lines.
There, yeah.
Same as that exact thing he said, verbatim. Yep.
Yeah, so hopefully
we'll try and get him on.
Hopefully we can actually get him on.
Yes.
He probably, blocked all of our numbers and everything, so we might have to
and on Twitter.
We'll have to find him somehow.
I'll send him a carrier pigeon.
Call the athletic department at Florida State. You can send him an owl, Harry Potter style.
I'm gonna have to go through his people. The person at Florida State Athletics. Hey, can I set up a meeting with Jeff Culhane for a radio interview and go through it that way? He's got people now.
We probably have to give him at least 30 seconds to plug all his Florida State stuff and how great they are. And
if you haven't already seen, go to YouTube or go to this or that and Florida State Athletics, yada yada. Behind the mic, Jeff Culhane and everything else. But he will make a return next week. That is the hope.
I'm excited.
We'll schedule it. You'll have to listen on the honeymoon.
Oh, yeah. I won't be here.
You won't be here.
I was like, yes, I can't wait. Oh, man.
Maybe we'll have Cole Jurek on when we do that show. We'll try to.
Cole will be too nice.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think he would.
We'll probably just talk Vikings if we have me, Cole, and Jeff on for a little bit.
In that case, I'm not going to be mad that I'm not here.
No, not one bit. Fun show for you, though. It's a football Friday, of course, so that means the head coach will be stopping by. Matt Entz walking off the practice field from practice 17, 18 at this point. I'm bad at math. They've been going for 3 weeks here. Or 2.5 weeks, I guess, technically. But Matt Entz around noon will join us walking off of the practice field from another practice for NDSU football as they get 1 week closer to the season opener against Drake on September 3rd and National Championship banner-raising day at the Fargo Dome. And then a couple of NDSU Media Day interviews for you that we didn't get to yesterday. I promise we'll get to them today, unless Kyle takes us down some weird rabbit hole of something I don't know about, or we get talking golf, or people come in for more interviews I don't know about. But we'll get to Spencer Wagey and also Dan Larson today. Defensive lineman, defensive end / defensive tackle Spencer Wagey. Fun conversation with him because of the rehab angle that I don't think we talk about enough. I don't think a lot of fans know what goes into the rehab of injuries, and Spencer's had a few of them. He's had his fair share, no doubt. So that's a fun conversation with Spencer. We'll play at about 11:30, and then offensive line coach Dan Larson will stop by. Or not stop by, we'll play the conversation I had with him from Media Day at around 12:30 on the program. And also, we have another list. This one's not from me. This one is from somebody with NFL Network, and it is an egregious list. You haven't ripped apart my list a ton. A little bit. You did the last one.
Not bad. A little bit.
I will rip apart this one, and I'll let you rip it apart if you would like. But it's definitely rippable. Maybe it was the clickbait thing, but it definitely got me riled up. So we'll go through that a little bit later on in the show. But before we really get going, I want to talk about NIL and collectives in the opening segment.
There.
I think there was some fairly big news, big enough news to at least talk about it on the show that kind of broke last night across the FCS from our good friend Sam Herder of Hero Sports, and it has to do with Montana State now getting an NIL collective. For those of you who are like, what in the world is an NIL collective? We know what NIL is at this point, name, image, and likeness, but a lot of the FBS, the Power Fives, the big-time schools and institutions have these collectives, which are basically just a group of donors or a group of alumni that want to donate to the program, that get together, pool their money, pool their resources, and say, we've got, at some schools like Texas A&M or Tennessee, I think has the largest one, where it's like $50 million, $40 million they pool together, and it's every student athlete that comes to this university is going to get X amount of dollars. Football might get more than basketball or baseball or women's basketball or something like that. Some of it's just for football. Every football player from walk-on to full scholarship is going to get X amount of money. And at the Power 5 level, a lot of those collectives are used as, hey, more of an incentive for maybe a bigger recruit or a big-time get out there in the recruiting path. Well, that has come to the world of the FCS. It kind of technically already had before, but a contender making one yesterday. The Bobcat Collective, an NIL collective, is set to launch for Montana State football, the second known in the FCS. The other one is Grambling. This is the first one I think is something where you kind of see it and it at least makes you go, oh, it's kind of newsworthy a bit.
Yeah, I think, it's funny, Andy, because technically, I was reading through this article that Sam put out, and technically you're not supposed to be able to use these NIL collectives during recruiting. Like, how big of a joke is that? Like, the NCAA came out and said, okay, you can have these, but you're not supposed to be able to use them in recruiting. Like, are you kidding me? That's like saying, oh, hey, NDSU, you can't use that gigantic brand new facility in recruiting. Okay, well, that's fine. We'll just drive them by. I mean, I know they don't say that, but let's say they did. Like, oh, okay, well, we'll just drive them by it and then maybe give them the keys and let them walk through it. It's like it's still going to be used.
Coach
right?
Entz is like, I left my lanyard inside. I just got to go grab it and walk with me.
Like, hey, our next meeting is in this building. It has nothing to do with football. We're just going to have a meeting in here. And you might practice in here a couple times. So we'll just, you know what I mean? It's like the same thing. It's not like these recruits aren't going to know. You don't think the coaches aren't going to at least mention it? Maybe, like, how do you prove that someone actually used that in recruiting? I don't know how it's possible.
Exactly.
You're going to monitor every single phone call, every conversation they have and be like, oh, did you mention this? Like, just knowing, even if they don't, just knowing that someone has an NIL collective, I think that's a huge advantage in recruiting. And I saw your tweet yesterday, and I would agree with you. We don't know how much it's going to be, but I also was telling you, you live in Bozeman, Montana. It's not exactly a cheap place to live. So for a kid, this could be a tipping point. You never know. And I think this is going to send a little bit of a ripple effect through the FCS. I think NDSU's got to at least be aware of it and be like, hey, I don't know. And I'm not a recruiting expert. I don't know how often we compete with Montana State in recruiting, but every now and then I would think so. And, is this going to be the thing that tips a kid? If you're 50-50 on both schools, is this going to be the thing? It might be.
So basically, again, this is called the Bobcat Collective. It's not started by at least, but organizer, founder, president of it, Brandon Van Cleve is his name. I did a little digging and big J journalism on this one. I found out Brandon Van Cleve, president of what's called Pine Cove Consulting out there in the Bozeman area, and he's one of the guys that is the co-founder, the president of this Bobcat Collective. And it is worthy news. It's newsworthy, especially for the FCS. We haven't seen very many of these, and this is the first. Grambling being the first, but Grambling's not necessarily a contender at the FCS level. So this is the first real contender that has made this happen or gotten a collective for NIL. Again, called the Bobcat Collective. And Brandon Van Cleve said every MSU football player from walk-on to full scholarship will get a share of the collective. The goal is to grow the collective every year and support athletes on other teams as well. Not going to at the start. This sounds like it's at the beginning, just going to be football only. And it says, interesting the wording here, they'll get a share of the collective. Does everybody get the same share? Does a full scholarship person get more of a share than a walk-on? That's stuff that is different everywhere else because there's no rules to this. This is why we say it's the Wild West,
yep.
Because there aren't any rules. You can do basically whatever you want on these things because, like you said, the NCAA says you can't use this in recruiting, but what power does the NCAA really have right now? They really don't have much. They've had it all stripped away. They have no leadership. Mark Emmert's basically a sitting or a lame duck president right now because he's already said he's going to leave soon, and they're in the process of filling that seat, and they just really don't have any power, especially when it comes to football. Basketball is a little bit different. They do at least run the March Madness tournament that we all love, which is also kind of under attack, it seems like right now, from the Power 5 level. But we don't know anything else about it at this point, being the Bobcat Collective. relatively new to college sports landscape, and the NCAA began to allow college students or student athletes to make money from their name, image, and likeness last year. These collectives typically created by alumni, donors, supporters, and they're independent of the university and the athletic department. I think that's an important distinction. Make sure you mention that.
Right.
Independent of the university and of the athletic department. These are not, school-sanctioned individuals that are going out recruiting. The NCAA has come out and said that as well. You can't have Brandon Van Cleve, the president of this thing, going on a recruiting trip to talk to somebody because he is not a member of Montana State. He is not a member of their athletic department. They are completely separate entities. Most Power 5 schools have something like this or are close to getting something like this, but again, this is just the second FCS school to really do it. We know Montana State has invested in the program. I remember what we talked about yesterday when I think it was John in West Fargo called us and said, why is no one caught NDSU? And the thing I said is people don't invest in the program to the level NDSU does. And it's not just money. You don't just throw money at it and magically it's great. You got to have good coaches, good people, good culture. That is all extremely important. But when you invest and you're able to retain coaches, you're able to go out there on recruiting trips, build great facilities, like that also helps you continue to gain separation, I think, in the landscape of the FCS. So a couple of things I'll say on this, and I'll let you jump in as well, Kyle, again. For me, like I said yesterday on Twitter, I don't think it's newsworthy, but I don't think it's a massive deal. I think some people are blowing it out of proportion just a little bit where, oh my gosh, NDSU, you better respond. You better get out there right now. Until we know how much, I'm not really worried about it in terms of the recruiting aspect of you're going to lose every recruiting battle to Montana State. What if it's just like $1,000, $2,000? Like, yes, to a college kid, that's something. And in Bozeman, its price of living's pretty high, so everything helps. But also, your money doesn't go as far in Bozeman.
Right,
like $2,000 might maybe it's a month's rent. I don't know what it is out there. I know it's extremely expensive. It might not be out there in Bozeman if you're living off campus or something. Now, cost of attendance is another thing. Schools still do that as well, and NDSU obviously is doing that here with their football program and all of their athletics. But I just don't think it's as big of a deal yet until we find out more of the actual figures, until more information comes out of how much money are they really doling out here, and is that going to be a factor? Because NDSU, yeah, you got some 3-star kids, you got some highly recruited kids out there, and there's battles for them with Group of Fives, even a few Power Fives, and sometimes you get some big time schools in the FCS like your SDSUs, your Montana and Montana States, but there's a lot of guys that come on this team that are walk-ons or 0-stars where they're choosing NDSU and they're going to continue to choose NDSU probably even with these collectives becoming a thing. Again, unless they're getting paid outrageous amounts of money, which I just don't think is happening at Montana State. It's happening at Texas Tech where they're getting $45,000 a year, and Texas A&M where they've got millions of dollars, and Tennessee where they've accumulated $40 million in their collective. I just don't think that's the case yet with the Bobcat Collective. Now, Matt Entz has also come out and said multiple times in multiple press conferences, once at the Missouri Valley Media Days and once at his season opening press conference, when asked about these collectives and NIL, that this is something we're aware of. We're watching it. We're monitoring it. NDSU's always been a conservative athletic department, and that's a good thing, as he has said, and I will continue to say as well. They're very much conservative in that matter. They're not a reactive athletic department. They're not just going to make a collective because, we see one, we've got to make one right now. They're going to do things the right way and continue to do things that are good for the longevity of the program. But in the same sense, Matt Entz has also said, this is something we're going to look at, we're going to talk about it, and we need to make sure we're staying on the cutting edge of all things recruiting. And this is probably, again, this isn't verbatim, but these are kind of his words of, this is maybe the last class where NIL and money and collectives isn't a big talking point. This is maybe the last recruiting class. The next ones, it's kids come into the offices and like, how much can you pay me? It's basically kind of what it is at this point. So, it's a deal. It's newsworthy for sure, but NDSU, one thing they've always done is it's not always the talent you get. Like Montana State might win more battles with 3-star kids or 2-star athletes, or maybe even a 4-star kid every once in a while now. But you also got to coach them up. And NDSU's done a great job of getting the 0-star kid that was unrecruited and ends up being an NFL player for maybe like the Chargers or something. Maybe there's a story like that out there that they've done in recent years.
I've never heard of that
Never
story.
heard of that story. So, yes, it's a deal, but I don't think this is something that's going to drastically shift the landscape of the FCS. The thing that will shift it more for Montana State is their indoor practice facility. The Montana State Athletic Complex, I think they called it, which is like attached to their football stadium. That thing looks phenomenal. It's top-notch. It's done extremely well. Those are the kind of things that I think tip the scales a little bit more than even the Collective. But when you put the Collective with everything else they're doing and continuing to invest in athletics and invest in their football program, and they bring over a great coach and they invest in the coaching staff, that altogether, it makes Montana State definitely a contender at this level, but they were already a contender at this level.
I think it will, like I said right off the top, I think it does send ripple effects through the FCS, and not necessarily to schools like NDSU, because I agree with you. I think NDSU's already been talking about this. They've already maybe even put a plan together. I don't know this for sure, but I would assume they, like you said, Matt Entz has said they've already been talking about it. It's on their radar. But for schools that maybe it hasn't been, maybe they're like, oh, this is a group of 5, Power 5 thing. We don't have to worry about it. Maybe like, I don't know, South Dakota State talking about NIL, schools like that are contenders, but maybe don't have as much money. This might be like a kind of, a surprise to them, a jump start to them, be like, okay, this is going to be a thing here. Now, if we start losing recruiting battles, we see Montana State take off, they start having even more success. It's like, okay, now it becomes a bigger thing. Like you said, at the time, right now, in this current moment, is it a huge thing? I don't know. Maybe not gigantic, because like I said, I think schools that are at the top, schools that have the capability of doing it, they were already thinking about it. They're already talking about it. They have a plan in place. But if you're one of those schools that didn't, now I think it becomes a bigger deal. And, like you said, we can't forget, NDSU still offers cost of attendance. And that kind of gets forgotten, all of this, which to me is almost like an NIL collective. Now it is coming directly from the school, but these kids are still getting a couple grand every semester to help with things that their scholarship doesn't cover. So that's still going to be a big deal. Now, if you're a kid getting recruited, and I know it's hard when you're that young, like $5,000. Let's say it's $5,000 a semester, so $10,000 a year. Like, is that life-changing money? No, but for a college kid, it does make a big difference. And at that point in your life, is $5,000 a semester, is that going to be the tipping point? If you're like, let's just take it for example. I love NDSU. I love everything about it. I'm considering Montana State. Don't like it as much. Is that $5,000 going to be the thing that tips you one way or the other? You're going to go take a 4 or 5 year experience at one place over another just because of $5,000? I don't know. I mean, I think
for some kids it will be. For some it won't be.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'm trying to think back when I was 18, and if that was the case, I don't know. Now, if I was 50-50 on both schools, I couldn't make a decision, I'm indecisive, then it might.
Yeah.
So I think it is a big deal. I don't know how huge it is right now. Like you said, we don't know how much it is. If it's let's say, their cost of attendance is $2,000 a semester and they just double that, so now it's $4,000. So let's say again, you get $4,000, go to Montana State, you get $2,000 a semester at NDSU. $2,000, like you said, in Montana State, that might not even cover 1 month's rent. Like realistically, once you get off campus. So is that a huge deal to me? Not really. But it is something that you have to talk about. It's something, if you're an FCS school and you haven't considered it, you better start at least thinking about it.
The school it affects more that's definitely thinking about it, if they weren't already, is Montana.
Yeah,
absolutely. Because those two schools, I mean, it is back and forth of, oh, you got this? Well, we got this. So that's something where I'm waiting for the Grizz Collective or whatever it's going to be called, basically.
That's the school that's probably the school that, like you said, that affects them. I wouldn't be surprised if they have one within a month or two.
Yeah. And those two on the recruiting path, they run into each other every day.
Yes.
Where NDSU and Montana State, they probably have a couple of kids they're both recruiting or they're both are interested in, especially with Brent Vegan being there now and maybe looking for some kids that fit the same type of profile, same type of mold. But I don't think they're running into each other every day or even every month on the recruiting trail. It's just the way it is. But yeah, it's newsworthy. It's something we will definitely watch and keep our eyes on. If we hear anything more about it, we'll let you know. But Coach Entz just said what he said about it. We'll have Matt Larson in here next week, maybe get his thoughts on the future of this stuff. And he said this before, and I completely agree with him, and I would say the same thing. This is not what it was intended to be. When Name, Image, Likeness was opened up, it was merit-based. Hey, you got a great following on social media. You can go monetize that. You sing, or you have a rap album or something. You can sell it. Like, absolutely go do that. But now it's kind of morphed into, hey, come to this school and we'll just give you money, basically.
It's turned into the schools giving salaries without the schools giving salaries.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because these are not attached to the school.
I was never I shouldn't say never, but I've been adamant that college kids should be able to make money off their name, image, and likeness. It just makes sense. It's a free market. We live in a capitalistic society. Like, they should be able to do it. But I'm not for them getting paid like professional athletes where, you know, the quarterback comes and he gets X amount. He's going to get more than the offensive lineman, than the third string puncher. You know what I mean? Like I don't want it to turn into the NFL because we already have the NFL. But at the same time, you know, it's such a fine line because we thought NIL was one side of the line, and now it's kind of teetering over to the other side.
Oh, the line's been erased.
Oh yeah, it's gone. It's not even blurred anymore. Yeah. It's these kids are getting paid for just going to a school. They're getting a salary. That's essentially what it is. It's not the school doing it; it's someone else. So then it's okay. But at the same time, like it's such a big pie of money that's being thrown out. College football. I mean, we just saw the deal that the Big Ten signed yesterday. I mean, it was like double what they got last time. I think last time it was a couple billion total. This time it's like a couple billion a year or something like that. I mean, it's insane the amount of money that college football is bringing in. And up until a couple years ago, student athletes, myself included, now I know I wasn't at a Power 5, but I couldn't even afford, I shouldn't say afford, but my scholarship didn't even cover my rent. You know, and it's just like these kids can't even get their parents to come to games because, yeah, your school is paid for, and I get all that, but like that was it. You had no other money to go out and in the summer. Your scholarship didn't do anything. So like I know there was a need there, but now we're kind of crossing over to the line where they're just getting paid as a salary. They're getting paid because like it's almost professional sports at this point. It's getting close.
Yeah, the Big Ten media deal, by the way, $7 billion.
Over 7 years.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Just
so
ridiculous.
Over $1 billion a year.
Exactly. So, and there's a possibility, I believe Kevin Warren, their commissioner, said he's not opposed to sharing that with some of the players or also expanding to up to 20 teams. Made both of those statements, and those are like, oh, okay, there's something a little bit different to chew on and look forward to in the future. The last couple of things I'll say about it and what you just said kind of jogged my memory on this. You know, again, name, image, likeness. It wasn't meant to be like this. I've always been all for players being able to monetize on their own name, image, and likeness. You know, the music student at a university can sell their music, or the art student can sell their art and make money off it.
The math student can go tutor people.
Exactly. Why shouldn't the football player get money for his jersey being sold?
Exactly.
Or if anything else, like his social media following, his name, image, and likeness, or her name, image, and likeness for a women's basketball player or anything else. They should absolutely be able to capitalize on that stuff. The one thing I think is forgotten a little bit, and you're right, in the summer it does nothing, and in the grand scheme of things, especially at the big Power 5 level, it's a minuscule slice of the pie. As someone that didn't have an athletic scholarship for college is pretty good. It does set you up pretty well for life. You're not dealing with student loans or anything or any of that kind of debt when you leave school. I think we do forget about that just a little bit and don't talk about it at all like it's just absolutely nothing. It does do a lot for you in the grand scheme of your life, setting you up well, that you get a education, you get a degree in whatever study you want it to be, and you get it for free. You don't have to pay for that, and you're debt-free out of college.
No,
it is important.
It's definitely not nothing, but like you just said, there's people that go to schools on a full-ride academic scholarship. Their school's getting paid for. They can still go monetize themselves in other ways. So that's why I always kind of, I don't want to say just breeze over it, but I do because, yeah, don't get me wrong, it's a huge deal. Like getting an athletic scholarship is a huge deal, but when you can't, like we had guys that like in the summer like couldn't get food. You know, they couldn't afford to buy food at the time. And it's like, yeah, okay, great, your school's getting paid for, but what about right now? Yeah, that's great for in the future, but what about right now?
And that's why they need a slice of the pie.
And exactly, that's why they needed the slice of the pie.
Yeah, completely agree with you 100% there. So it's going to change. It's continuing to change, whether you really like it or not. It's changing one way or another, and it's changed here at the FCS level now because Montana State opening up the Bobcat Collective there. And some sort of money. We don't know the amount. We don't know the total there. We don't know if it's going to continue to grow. That's their goal. That's their hope. But maybe it doesn't. Maybe it does. And we'll see how that does affect, what the ripple effect is to the landscape of the FCS. We'll take a break, though. We'll come back, and we'll play Spencer Wagey, my conversation with Spence, and going over his thoughts on rehab and recovering from injuries and all that. We'll play that conversation for you when we come back here on The Insiders, brought to you by Proceed.
A sports talk station that Bison Nation deserves. Bison 1660.
Proceed's company core values, in my eyes, are trust, integrity, and fulfilling the promise. Proceed's been in business for 30 years for a reason. They keep things simple, they watch what their farmer needs, and they take care of it. We promise what we deliver. Proceed has had some of the same customers for the past 30 years as they started with. With that comes the integrity that we live by at Post. We want to be that trusted advisor with them, their farm, their family.
Looking to add some light and brighten up the inside of your home? Maybe you have an outdoor project or you're looking to update in the garage. Then the team at JDP Electric should be your first and only phone call. JDP Electric makes the process easy. Their dedicated team of professionals can assist with any size project or idea you may have, and even provide a few ideas they see that fit your budget as well. Don't mess with the electricity. Make sure to call in the pros. Call 701-232-1991 today to experience the JDP difference.
If your current job is no longer fulfilling and your hard work and commitment isn't resulting in bigger paychecks, consider a change. Radio FM Media has an opening for an account executive. Successful people in this career are good at building and maintaining client relationships, helping clients succeed by utilizing radio, events, sports marketing, and digital campaigns. If this sounds like something that fits your personality and work ethic, and the idea of being in a creative, energized media environment excites you, send your resume to Jessica at radiofmmedia.com.
With over 900 vehicles in stock, Corwin Auto has you covered.
Looking for better fuel economy?
We have it with hybrids and electric vehicles.
Need more room for that growing family?
We have it. Upgrade to a van, SUV, or crossover.
Need more horsepower to work and play harder?
We have the biggest selection of new and used trucks in the area. Get exactly what you are looking for and don't settle when you can shop over 900 vehicles on the lot and ready for immediate delivery. Corwin Auto has you covered. Shop online, corwinauto.com.
When is the last time you went to the dentist? Has it been more than 6 months? Then it's time to make an appointment. My friends at About Smiles Dental are accepting new patients. Not only for you, but your entire family. Our family loves the team at About Smiles. And let's be honest, there's no better feeling than a clean and healthy smile. At About Smiles, their name says it all. Your smile is their top priority. It's easy to skip appointments, but the dentist isn't one you should put off. Make sure you're keeping up with your oral hygiene. Schedule your appointments now at About Smiles Dental.
Doesn't matter who you are or where you're from, you're always welcome where there's Jim Beam. Small town guy in a big city, big city guy in a small town. Wherever Jim Beam is welcome, you'll be welcome. Country guy at a rock show, Viking fan at a Packer game.
And the throw incomplete. Oh, what a pressing tackle.
Just look for the Jim Beam, and you know you're always welcome. Your friends at Jim Beam remind you to drink responsibly.
From the court to the field and everywhere in between. Your home for NDSU athletics. Bison 1660.
Just coming up on 11:30 on the program today, a Football Friday edition. By the way, you can watch the show live on our Facebook page, Bison 1660, courtesy of the Horsch Cam. How you guys doing out there? Horsch, farming with passion, online at horsch.com, HORSCH.com. And this hour of the Insiders on a Friday brought to you by the great team at Rick Electric. When you need electrical work, you need Rick Electric. For over 56 years, Rick Electric has been providing excellent electrical services for homes and businesses. Visit them online at rickelectric.com. Week 2 of the NFL preseason gets going tonight as well. Are there any players or teams you're somewhat interested in the preseason? I think a lot of people at Trey Lance probably not going to be playing against the Vikings tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, I believe they play. A lot of people point at the Cowboys, who had 14 penalties in the first game. They want to see that cleaned up.
I thought it was 17.
Maybe even more, yeah, it might have been.
And when I originally saw that with the Cowboys, I was like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. And then you realize, I think they led the league in penalties last year as well. So it's like, okay, now it's a bigger deal. First preseason game, it happens, right? We always talk about that in college football, even high school football. That's the game where you're going to see the most penalties. You see some dumb mistakes, some mental mistakes, some things that just have to be worked out. But when you lead the league in penalties one year and then you come back in the very first preseason game, you have 17. Now it's newsworthy.
Now it's a trend.
I'm trying to look through some of these games here. I
believe Travis Etienne's going to play. I'm kind of interested in him and Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in Trevor Lawrence. The guy that was just a can't-miss prospect had just a rough year last year. And I know he had everything going on with Urban Meyer, and the Jaguars were a little bit of a mess last year. But still, you want to see something hopeful. That's why I had him in my what was the list you did? Top 10 players with most pressure on them. That's why I had him on there, because again, it's not like they're going to cut him after year 2. Even if he has another bad year, they'll give him at least one more, probably give him his whole rookie contract. But you want to see something there, some hopefulness for the future. I would love to see Trey Lance play against the Vikings. I think that would be awesome, but it sounds like we're not going to see him there. So I still keep up with the Chargers. The Raiders have the Dolphins. So, maybe a bounce around to a couple games. But I'll be on a flight on Saturday. So
it's true. And a long flight, too.
Long flight.
How long is that one? Is it direct flight?
I don't know.
Or you
direct from
something?
Minneapolis.
Really?
So Fargo to Minneapolis, and then.
I thought there would have been a stop to refuel or something.
I guess not. So
got a lot of fuel on the plane you're on.
Hope so.
I hope so
figure
too.
that out.
I want you back the next week as well. No doubt about it. But enjoy that honeymoon, by the way.
I will.
That'll be a fun time.
I'm looking forward to it.
There you go. Ever been to Hawaii?
I have not.
Okay.
First time.
There you go.
So I'm excited.
NFL Pro Bowl was still there when you were in the NFL, right?
I think so. Maybe like the first year, and then they've kind of moved it around.
Yeah,
now.
Orlando, a few other random places. Which, if I'm a player, I'm like, no, keep it in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to go to Orlando or other places. Not that those are bad, but it's not Hawaii. No. I would think, personally.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, no doubt. Let's get to my conversation, though, with Spencer Wagey. Bison defensive tackle, defensive end, more defensive end than defensive tackle, I should say. But a guy that's been around this program for a long time now, the super-duper senior, was nice enough to sit down with me at NDSU Media Day, and I had to ask him, man, it kind of feels like it's a habit now, you going through fall camp and speaking with us here at Media Day.
Yeah, basically, really starting to feel like an old man around here.
Do they make fun of you? Are you like Grandpa Wagey? Any ribbings from the younger guys?
Haven't had any nicknames like that yet. I think the young guys are just a little afraid to make comments like that right now still, but I'm sure they'll come the further the season goes on.
Yeah. Well, what's it feel like, though, for you just to be back again? Obviously, you wanted to play last year. The injuries suck. The injuries have been what they have been for you. We're hoping you stay healthy this year, but to continue coming back, was it an easy decision to come back, and what does it feel like to be back here again?
Yeah, so it was a pretty easy decision to come back once we had figured out what exactly all had happened last season with my injury. It was kind of a no-brainer. It was the best thing to do for me. So I'm glad to be back. I'm happy to be, just still playing football, and I'm excited for the season.
We were talking with Eli Mostert earlier, and I said, he kind of reminds me of you a little bit as younger, because you were playing inside, you were playing outside, you were doing a little bit of everything, and you played when you were fairly young, and he's mostly D tackles now, but he played a little bit of everything in that spring year as well. When you see him, does he remind you at all of a younger Spencer Wagey?
Yeah, honestly, he's probably even better than I was. Eli's a very talented guy. Love that I'm able to play with him again this year, and I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. Just still learning off Eli, him learning off me, and just to see what we're able to do this season.
We said injuries are just injuries. You can't control them sometimes, but you can try and prevent them best you can. What are you guys doing in fall camp? Have you talked with the coaches? What's the plan in terms of the year to just try and keep you healthy throughout the entire thing?
Yeah, I'm on a kind of a rep count right now. Just trying to ease me back into playing football since I had basically a year off of playing. And then just kind of continue throughout camp to try and do a little more and more. As long as the knee's feeling good, we're going to keep progressing. And, by week 1, planning on just letting her go.
I want to ask you about the rehab process of it, because I don't think we talk about it enough. You guys are in there. Even if you're healthy, you're in there like every week, bumps and bruises. And when you got an injury like you had, you're in there all the time. How often are you in the rehab room? How long are you there when you go there? What goes into that process for you?
Yeah, it was literally right when we got back from Townsend. I had found out, Monday exactly everything that had happened, and by Tuesday it was in the training room because I had to get a range of motion back and had to get all the swelling out of my knee. So I was doing rehab before my surgery even happened, and then from right when surgery got done, the next day I was, they had me trying to move my knee because I had to start getting the range of motion to come back again. And so, it was just a everyday thing there for, 10 months. It was always just doing some rehab. And, right at the start of it, it was probably closer to a couple hours, 2-3 hours. And then towards the end, a lot of it was kind of stuff I could do in the weight room during lifts, and didn't need to spend as much time in the training room. But, it would be as much as I could, I'd have to go put ice on it or wear a compression sleeve to keep swelling down. And so, it was a lot of time spent in the training room with our trainer this past year.
It's easy, I think, to
we talk about Coach Kramer and the lifting stuff. Like, if you don't have energy or you're not there doing everything you can right away lifting, Coach Kramer's going to get out of you. He's going to say something, right? When you're in the mentality of rehabbing and trying to go through that process, and sometimes you're doing the same thing again and again, and you haven't really been able to do much more for the last couple of weeks or even a month or so, is it hard to get in the mentality of, okay, let's go and try and do the same thing again?
Not so much. I say it was always something I did was to try and keep myself like motivated with it. Just because it was easy to kind of let the situation of injured end of season for me and kind of get the best of you. So you kind of had to find those little things just to kind of keep you motivated and keep you going. Like early in my rehab, it was with the range of motion. It was one day I hit like 80-degree range of motion, and it was the best I had done, and I was excited about it, pumped up, and it's like, all right, tomorrow let's try and do a little better than 80, and it was just little things like that. So by the time we got to the weight room stuff, when I was kind of able to actually start lifting with the team again, like Kramer had me, it was the first day I was squatting, and it was probably the most excited I'd ever been to squat in my life, because it was just like, okay, sweet, I got to do something, kind of start to feel normal again. And Coach Kramer was really good about it. Obviously, he worked with me and helped me slowly get back to it, because the form wasn't great the first time, and so he helped me out a lot with it too. And it's just stuff like that. You just got to always find something to keep yourself motivated and look forward to.
What did Kramer, was he taking it easy on you those first couple of days back, or was it just like, okay, just put more weight on there, we're going to keep you? What was he like when someone's injured? I think we know what he's like when you're healthy and he's expecting the best out of you.
Yeah, so lower body-wise, he was always careful with, well, how's that feel? Do you think you could have did a little more? Okay, like, good to know, we'll, do more next lift. Whereas, like, but every day I had upper body still, and it was just like, put more weight on, you can do more than that, and just, then he didn't care. It was like, your upper body's fine, your upper body's not hurt. So, lower body, he was careful, upper body, it was much weight as you could do.
That's what I've heard, is like, hey, upper body's not hurt. We're still lifting. We're still in here doing biceps and triceps and shoulders and all that kind of stuff. Again, here with Spencer Wagey, NDSU defensive end, defensive lineman. I asked this question earlier as well to one of your line mates there, but Nick Gazer is all defensive line now. He was just D tackles. Now he's doing all the defensive line. Buddha Williams, a coach you had for many years, no longer here. What's that change been like for you and for the room?
It's been interesting. I obviously a lot of respect and love for Coach Buddha. Me and Coach Buddha came in together. He was, my only college coach, position coach up to this point. And him leaving, obviously, wished him nothing but the best. And then when Coach Gazer told me he was taking over the head job, I was just like, all right, this will be good. This is going to be, I think, good for the whole D-line in general. And Coach Gazer, as far as when it came to coaching the DNs now, he was always good about asking, like, okay, well, what drills did kind of Coach Buddha do that you guys still really like and you'd like to keep doing? So he really, listened to us and, probably more than even what he had to, and just kind of, listen to us and what drills we like doing with Coach Buddha, and just kind of some things how Buddha taught us in the past. And then, of course, he's obviously put his little his coaching opinion on it, and to obviously help us improve in whatever way he can. So it's been really good. He isn't trying to reinvent the wheel with us or anything like that. It's keeping everything as normal for us as he can, and I really appreciate that.
I have one more question on the rehab side. Was there ever a day where maybe you went in and you regressed? You had a step backwards where it's like, I got to 80-degree bend, but now I only got to 75. Why did that happen? And if you did have a day like that, what were those days like?
Those days are terrible.
Yeah.
Because everyone thinks you're like success or anything like that. It's just straight line going forward. They don't realize that line is up and down all over the place. So, like you said, and those days did happen where all of a sudden you went in and my range of motion wasn't as good as it was the day before, and right away it's just like, Mason, our trainer, like, what happened? What did I do wrong? What do we need to do? Like, why is this not better than what it was yesterday? And I think he always kind of just had to laugh, because any time it was like that for me, I started kind of worrying about it. And he always told me, like, there's going to be the days that it's set back, it's just a little more sore than it might have been the day before when we did it. And he said it's nothing to be alarmed of. He's like, tomorrow you might come and you might beat that 80 degrees and you might hit 90 degrees all of a sudden. He's like, it's just how the rehabbing knees work. And he said it's not going to be perfect every day, but as long as it's still moving forward and in the long run, that's all that matters.
Well, we're happy you're healthy right now and hoping to keep you healthy all year. Spencer Wagey, Bison defensive lineman, here with us. Spencer, best of luck this year. Happy to have you back, even if it's like the 10th or 11th year at this point. I'm happy no one's calling you Grandpa Wagey or anything at this point, but we're excited to have you back. We appreciate the time, and keep healthy out there, okay?
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you.
Conversation with Spencer Wagey, and looking forward for big things from Spence. And I didn't, bring this up necessarily in the conversation, but I was talking to him a little bit afterwards because, you know how this goes, Kyle, at Media Day. You get done with one, and then you're kind of waiting for the next one, but you're waiting around there for a little bit. So I was talking to him a little bit after this, and he's excited for the opportunity possibly of playing at that next level. He's seen some guys do it, and I don't know if we all think about that at the time. We know Cody Malk. I think we think Noah Gindorf's got a chance. Like Spencer Wagey is another guy that if he stays healthy, which is it's an if for him, but he's talented enough that he could get a shot at that next level, and he is thinking about that, and this is something he's really excited for and would do if the opportunity presents itself. But he's a great player.
Yeah, he really is, and almost anyone on the team, especially as a senior, when you go into that last year, if you have a really good year, obviously the numbers have to line up and everything, but if you have a really good year, you have a chance. Look at me. I mean, right? No one on earth would have bet that I was going to get drafted going into my senior year. They thought maybe he'll get a camp invite, maybe undrafted free agent, but no one thought I was getting drafted. So it just, it all depends on this last year and what he can do. Now, the knee thing is going to be something that he would have to deal with a lot, and he understands that. I know that, but like the whole medical exams and everything, they would take a very thorough look at that, but it's not like that's never happened before. So yeah, I like that mindset. You should have that mindset going into your senior year. Like, look, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to have the best year of my life, and we'll see where the cards fall, and hopefully I get a chance at the next level.
What was the biggest injury you had?
In college?
Yeah, or pro.
I had a couple. The only one that required surgery, I had a small tear in my meniscus as a freshman. Okay. So I had to get that trimmed out, but that was easy. I don't want to say easy, but as far as knee surgeries go, about as good as you can hope for.
Gotcha.
In the NFL, I had a couple shoulder tears, things here or there. I think I told you guys about how I fractured my manubrium. Or no, it's your sternum, but it's like there's two bones in there or something. I don't know. Ask a doctor that's smarter than me, but had a small fracture in there in a preseason game. Got that in a preseason game, so then I had to deal with it the whole year. So that was fun.
And we just talked about it with Spence, and I thought he laid it out extremely well of those days where, for him, it's different because you never had the ACL or all those kind of things where, today I can bend it 80 degrees or I got this kind of mobility. The next day you come in and you have less and you regress. And I think we don't talk about the rehab process enough, in my opinion. And like he said, everyone thinks it's just a straight line. Today is better than the next day, and then you just keep on getting better. There's days where you get worse. There's weeks where you get worse for an entire week, and it's like, probably that mental side of, am I ever going to be healthy again? Am I going to get back on the field?
It's brutal. The rehab, and again, I never had to go through something like Spencer had to go through with the ACL, and was it 6 to 8 months of rehab, like hard rehab. But I had to go through it just a couple weeks. Like I said, I had a shoulder injury. I had 2 shoulder injuries my first game of my NFL career. Never had one in my life, and I get 2, of course, first game of my NFL career. So I had to go in for rehab, and you have to go in earlier. It just adds another couple hours onto everything you're doing during your day. And I still had to try and practice and do everything else in the meetings. And yeah, it's a mental grind too in there and a physical grind in the rehab facility. And like you said, there's days that you're wondering, like, am I even doing the right thing here? You stop trusting the process, just like we talk about the process on the playing field and everything. Well, there's a process to the whole rehab, and it's something you have to get after. It's not like you just show up and lay on a table every day. Like you got to get after it, and you have to have the right mindset, and you have to try and get better every single day in the training room. So it's a tough process.
And sometimes in the training room, you're doing the same thing again and again and again. Yes. It can probably get monotonous, and you're starting to think,
100%.
Does this person know what they're doing?
Yeah, you start to question a little bit of everything, and thank God that I never had to go through something like that, because I don't know how well I would have handled it. I would have hated it. I promise you, I would have hated every second of it. But it's something where if you love the game enough, you love your teammates, you love this program, you're going to do everything you can to get back on the field. Even for him, he's got one more year, and I'm guessing I can almost guarantee that's what he was thinking about that whole time. Just give me one more chance, give me this one more year. I'm going to do everything I can to get back on that field.
Yeah, and even if you stay healthy, you're in there. A lot of times, everyone's got bumps and bruises. Even if you're not having those season-ending things or those long-term rehab processes. For Spence, even if he stays healthy this year, which, knock on wood, we want that to happen for him, he's still going to be in there all the time.
He'll be in there all the time.
All the time. People don't realize that.
Icing it down, making sure the swelling's okay, and who knows, something else might pop up here. Guys that are seemingly healthy on the outside on paper. You know, they're not showing up on an injury report. They're still in there every day. Maybe not every day, but a lot of the days getting things, ice baths, just little things here and there. I mean, it's a violent sport. We all know it, right? You see it, and especially if you get down up close, and you've been on the sideline before, Andy. Like, it's even watching some of my high school kids sometimes. Like, how did I do that? Like, I know, and it wasn't even that long ago for me. I'm like, how did I put my body through that? My wife tells me that all the time. Like, I don't know how you did that. It's like, I don't know. It's just something you do. But you look at it from the outside perspective. It's like, yeah, you're gonna have some bumps and bruises after a football game, no doubt about it.
Absolutely. And there's some guys who have multiple season-ending injuries. You go through the whole rehab process. You come back, you play 2 games, and then something happens again, and you're just like, now you're doing it all over again, which is
Zach
awful.
Burrow had that happen to him.
Yeah,
and that's why he played 6 years. We had collarbone early on in camp, and then collarbone again, like the first game the next year. It's like that had been just a brutal time for him.
And Spencer's definitely had his fair share of injuries. We're here with you inside the Tharaldson Ethanol Broadcast Center. Tharaldson Ethanol is one of the nation's largest ethanol facilities. This 175 million gallon per year ethanol plant is located just west of Castleton. Fuel your future by joining the growing team today. View open positions at tharaldsonethanol.com. We'll take a break. We'll come back, wrap up hour number 1, get to some of your texts and emails, and also the latest from joint practices in the world of the NFL. Next.
The most complete Bison coverage in the region. Your Bison Nation station, Bison 1660.
Don't let your profits get stuck in your truck. Let it slide with Super Slide. Super Slide is a plastic, non-stick, self-lubricating, and seamless liner that eliminates waste in your truck or on your trailer. Super Slide is available in various grades, widths, and thicknesses, and Horn Plastics can have you in and out in no time. Call today to get your installation scheduled so you can get every last dime out of your haul with Super Slide from Horn Plastics, created and perfected for every job. Visit hornplastics.com for more information.
Hi, it's Kelly, and I want to tell you about my great experience with Valley Service Mechanical. They were polite and very easy to deal with. They were knowledgeable and helped me understand every step of the process. From the initial discussion of purchase options to the installation, it was a top-notch experience. If you ever want to work with professionals, I would strongly recommend Valley Service Mechanical.
When your heating and cooling needs help and your plumbing is on the fritz, call Valley Service Mechanical, 701-293-5701. Online at valleyservice.net.
NDSU football takes the field September 3rd on Bison 1660. We're here with you before the game.
Andy Rickoff and James Hendricks here with you on Bison Game Day, getting you ready for NDSU football.
During the game.
Looking over center, it's caught! It's a touchdown! It's a touchdown!
And after the game.
Welcome into Bison Hotline. Andy Rickoff, James Hendricks, Chris Hansen here with you on the show.
A full game day of green and gold every Saturday. The national champions play here on Bison 1660.
Hey folks, don't let bad credit hold you back from buying a car. Corwin Public Wholesale can help you get financed today. Visit corwinwholesale.com or stop by their location on 38th Street South in Fargo. Corwin Public Wholesale has helped thousands of people who have bad credit, no credit, bankruptcy, repo, divorce, or late payments. And with their financing power, Corwin Public Wholesale can get you into any vehicle today. They accept all credit applications. Apply today, drive today at Corwin Public Wholesale.
Stop in today at Bernie's and shop their great selection of wine, beer, and liquor. From local brews and ready-to-drink cocktails to unique wines and worldwide brands, they're sure to have exactly what you're looking for. Find them on social at Bernie's Wines and Liquors or online at berniesfargo.com. Bernie's Wines and Liquors, serving the FM area for over 50 years. Located Midtown on South University Drive in Fargo and Cheyenne Street in West Fargo.
All your best times begin at Bernie's.
Please drink responsibly.
Here's your Red River Valley weather update on Bison 1660.
The rain is sticking around, an 80% chance of some showers, 73 degrees for a high. Tonight will cool down into the low 60s and a 30% chance of some thunderstorms. This weather update brought to you by Minn Kota Windows. Just when your kids thought it was time to head outside, a storm hits. Trust Minn Kota Windows. Minn Kota's high-quality vinyl windows will keep them and your home safe. Weather the storm with Minn Kota Windows. Midwest built, Midwest tough. Guaranteed for life.
The second annual El Zagel 9 Holes in 1 Challenge, Sunday, August 28th. You could win cash prizes from Nearson Chevrolet Cadillac, Gateway Chevrolet Cadillac, Stutzman Harley Davidson, RDO Moorhead, Tito's Handmade Vodka, Camping World, Fargo Force Hockey, Town and Country Credit Union, Buffalo Wild Wings. The hole-in-one challenge is on all 9 holes, plus cash prizes for closest to the pin and putting. It's the second annual 9 Holes in 1 Challenge to help all El Zagel. Register now at e-zholeinone.com.
You're listening to your home for NDSU athletics.
To the 10, cut to 5, shot in there, baby!
Bison 1660.
Welcome back into the Insiders. Andy Rickoff, Kyle Emanuel, Micah Bindi in here with you. Got our Bison 1660 Road Tour coming up. Look out for that on our website, bison1660.com, with a complete list of all of our stops. At those stops, we'll have Bison football tickets, NDSU yard signs, which we know people love. Maybe we have to give away one more of those on Bison Trivia before the week is done.
I came up with a good one.
You did?
Well, actually, I didn't. I stole it from someone.
That's fine. Somebody texted you?
No, I was scrolling through Instagram, and Trevor Gebhardt, my former teammate, former Bison wide receiver, had one up. I didn't know it, and I was like, I should have known it. I'm not going to tell you what it was because I want to keep it for the next time we do trivia. I was a little disappointed in myself, but
okay.
I knew it once I saw the answer. I was like, oh, duh, one of those. But that's why trivia is fun.
So our Bison 1660 Road Tour, look on our website coming up. Starting on Monday, you'll have a complete list of the shows we'll be doing live. You can come out and watch those shows, sign up for prizes, and a whole bunch more stuff on our Road Tour brought to you by the Bridges Apartments. This hour of the Insiders on a Friday as well, brought to you by the great team at Rick Electric. When you need electrical work, you need Rick Electric. Don't do it yourself, folks. Electrical work is 1, dangerous, 2, pricey if you do it wrong. So trust the pros at Rick Electric. They've been providing excellent electrical services for homes and businesses for over 56 years. Visit them online at rickelectric.com. Well, the Vikings and 49ers finished up joint practices. You've told us you're not really a big fan of them. You don't see as much getting accomplished maybe as other people do in those joint practices. And I don't think you're the only person that shares that opinion. Because yesterday, one wide receiver for the 49ers, Brandon Ayuk, was at a press conference with members of the media after joint practice number 2. And he had this to say about how he thought the practices went.
Brandon, what do you take away from these 2 practices?
Long pause.
Very long pause.
It was good work.
Yeah.
It was good work, going against somebody different in a different environment. But, I mean, I didn't like it too. I feel like it was a waste of time personally.
Yeah, that's kind of why I was getting at. Because it kind of seemed boring to us, so I didn't know.
Oh, yeah. It was boring for sure.
It was boring for sure. He wasn't sugarcoating it. He wasn't trying to hide it one bit. Apparently, he only caught like 3 passes in the 2 days. Maybe it was a little bit more boring for him, but didn't see the point of the joint practices.
I just love how he gave like the politically correct answer first. It was great work. Good to go against a different team, a different color jersey. And they're like, okay, but like seriously, no, it was boring. I guess I can understand that from when I was going through it. There's less reps and there's more downtime in between because now you have obviously double the players. If you're an offensive guy and you're going against their 1 defense and then you have to go 2s and then you have to switch team. I mean, there's just a lot more that has to happen and you're not double repping. I've talked about double repping. Like there's usually, at least the ones that I was involved in, you're only going on 1 field. It's not like you're. Now, there was – I take that back. There was one time, I think, against the Rams, we went offense on one side, defense on the other. But sometimes it was just everyone on 1 field, and so you're kind of standing around a lot more than normal. And I don't know how they structure these practices. Maybe it was completely different than what I'm used to. Maybe they wanted to dial it back. But there you go. Guess it was boring for him.
It was boring for Brandon Ayuk, a guy that's kind of been in the doghouse before. Don't know if this affects that at all. He seems to be out of that doghouse, but not necessarily what the coach maybe wants to hear.
Sometimes boring practices are okay.
Yeah.
It's like, what would you rather be a complete grind and you're out there just banging for 2.5 hours straight with no break? I mean, I don't know. You got to.
At least it means nobody got hurt. There's nothing bad that happened. Yeah. Some people say, like, when you go on a long drive, I said the best drive is a somewhat boring one. You don't want something super exciting to be happening.
No news
it's
is
usually
good
not
news
good.
Type of thing. Yeah.
Exactly.
So, hey, it is what it is. If it wasn't the most exciting practice, I guess it's a practice, man. AI version. We're talking about practice. Okay, it is what it is. Man.
Save it for the game.
Yeah, you didn't get hurt. Like, came out of it okay. You got to go against a different colored jersey for a while. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah. I think some people have also, they got the storylines coming out. Or are you worried about so-and-so or this team not performing well? No, it's the preseason. We're not really worried about that. Or there was an article. Steve Young said something about one of the second-year quarterbacks. No, it was Lamar Jackson. He said the Ravens are holding Lamar Jackson back. Well, yeah, it's the preseason. They're holding him back because it's the preseason. We don't need to throw everything out there for everyone to see.
You got to find things to talk about, right?
We sure do. We got NDSU football to talk about. We'll be doing that with the head coach, Matt Entz, off the practice field when we start off hour number 2 next.
Summer is usually the time when you're completing a long to-do list. If one of those things requires an electrician, then you need Rick Electric. It's Chris Hansen, and they've done plenty of great projects at our house. Rick Electric's been doing big projects and small projects all over the area since 1964. For your safety and for that of everyone around you, skip the DIY YouTube electrical work and call the experts at Rick Electric, 233-6194. RickElectric.com. Businesses should know that Consolidated Communications has the only data center in the FM area that is SOC 2 certified. That means Consolidated has tested reliable systems in place to protect your valuable data. That's more important than ever with today's security concerns. Many business insurance companies require SOC certification at data storage facilities. You should work with a local data center that is SOC 2 certified. For scalable, cost-effective data center solutions for your changing business needs, go to consolidated.com/data center.
Your new career is waiting for you at the Hired Job Fair. Hired is presented by Northern Pipe Products and Titan Machinery in conjunction with Job Service North Dakota. At Hired, you'll meet employers from a wide variety of industries who are all looking for employees now. Hired is Tuesday, August 23rd from 1 to 4 p.m. at the Delta Hotel. Bring your resume and come dressed to impress. It's the Hired Job Fair, presented by Northern Pipe Products and Titan Machinery in conjunction with Job Service North Dakota. August 23rd from 1 to 4 p.m. at the Delta Hotel.
Dakota Refrigeration has been helping the Bison succeed behind the scenes. From their training room to their dining room, from milk to medicine, from ice to ice cream, Dakota Refrigeration has been serving Minnesota, Montana, and the Dakotas for over 4 decades. Locally owned and operated since 1974, Dakota Refrigeration is a full-service source for your refrigeration, heating, ventilation, air conditioning, and electrical needs. Dakota Refrigeration, located in Fargo, Bismarck, and Minot.
It's almost time for the Western Minnesota Steam Threshers reunion in Rolog, Minnesota. Join them Labor Day weekend, September 2nd through the 5th, for an exciting and fun-filled weekend for the whole family. This year features Rumley Oil pull tractors and machinery, including the arrival of Kerosene Annie. Enjoy 2 parades daily, plus horsepower demonstrations, ladies' activities, vintage style shows, kids' activities, and more. Labor Day weekend, September 2nd through the 5th in Rolog, Minnesota. For more information, visit rolog.com.
There's magic in the world.
People will tell you there isn't.
They just want you to get back to work.
Be quiet.
And not ask questions.
Those people need 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
When you've seen the magic
and felt the magic,
you can no longer deny the magic.
We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
And now we pause for a word from Charlotte, the Junk Fairy.
A friend is a person who always brings a little magic with them. Be a friend.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOTJUNK.com.
KQWB, West Fargo, Fargo Moorhead, and KPFX, HD3 Kindred, Bison 1660. Powered by Gateway Chevrolet, Cadillac, Nissan, and Hyundai in Fargo.
And here's what you need to know.
We got some big news involving Major League Baseball where, according to the Athletic, Braves outfielder Marcell Ozuna was arrested this morning and put in jail on a DUI charge. Now, under 15 months ago, he was in police custody on domestic violence accusations. The BMW Championship is happening right now as part of the FedEx Cup playoffs, and Scott Stallings is on a tear here in the second round. 4 under through his first 9 holes. He is -7, tied with the overnight leader Keegan Bradley, who was yet to tee off and will do so at 1:05 Eastern in the afternoon. Russell Henley and Adam Scott are 1 shot off the pace. Henley is the only one that is on the golf course that is 6 under. 2 under through 8 holes is his tally right now. The Panthers will not be playing quarterbacks Baker Mayfield or Sam Darnold in this evening's preseason game against the Patriots. It's P.J. Walker in to start. I'm Brian Fenley.
You've got the insiders.
How you play today, from this moment on, is how you will be remembered.
That's what living is. The 6 inches in front of your face.
Bringing you what you need to know and a whole lot more. Topics you care about, guests you know, and the conversations you came to hear. The Insiders are presented by Proceed. Need seed? Think Proceed. Now, here are the Insiders.
The Insiders.
The Insiders. The Insiders. Insiders. The Insiders.
Andy Rickoff and Bison great Kyle Emanuel.
Hour number 2 of the show, a Football Friday for you, and we're going to have a lot of these for the foreseeable future because, well, NDSU football gets going here in just a couple of weeks. Next week, there's games. There's college football next weekend, which is why Jeff Culhane will probably be on the show next week. Unless he big times us.
Unless he preview that game.
Got to. And
Florida State LSU.
If Jeff doesn't come on, I will have Jamar Cain come on.
Yeah.
If you don't want, we'll get the opposing view, Jeff.
Right.
I'll use that nugget or something.
It's getting saucy.
There we go. Oh, also next week, hoping to have Phil Hansen on. Now that you play the sounder, so.
You know who else?
Hall of Famer.
You know who else plays next week?
Shanley.
Yes, but Nebraska.
Oh, yeah, that's
Northwestern.
true. Yep.
And apparently, I got to mention this. We were talking about it in the break. Apparently, Nebraska's offensive linemen are puking close to 20 times a practice because they are, quote, working so hard. Not because they're out of shape, but because they're working so hard. And Scott Frost said this. Now, he said it kind of in a joking manner. I watched the video quickly, but I'm like, this is not a good thing.
No.
We were talking about, like, I have been through some brutal, grueling workouts, and I don't know if I've ever thrown up from one. Now, there are certain guys, it's just what they do. Yeah. I don't know why, but it's just what they do. But 20 times every day, like you dehydration, like heat stroke, like all that stuff comes into play. Like you think they're gonna be depleted by the time they get to the game.
Probably.
Like, it's a terrible thing. So I'm already counting week 1 loss. Put it in. If there's a bet out there, Nebraska's probably favored. Like hammer Northwestern.
Not feeling good about it.
No.
Huh? Oh,
your offensive line is depleted, man. They're throwing up.
They can't hold up in practice.
How are you
or
supposed to?
are they maybe eating before practice?
Well, it could be. There's a
Don't
couple
eat
of
before
things.
practice.
I'm hoping he's just exaggerating. Maybe it's like 1 to 2. I don't know. But either way,
what would
like,
be the point of exaggerating that number?
Exactly. What's the point? So,
not a badge of honor because either you're working them way harder than you should be, and there's
Yeah.
probably some things you need to dial back because you're going to hurt them, or worse, because like I said, heat exhaustion is a real thing, or your offensive line is drastically out of shape.
yeah, there's no good
Yeah.
from coming from. And again, like I was telling you about a couple guys we had that they'd throw up in like warm ups, so they get nervous and they throw up, but like that's 1 or 2 guys here or there, not every day. 20 times a day is insane. Even our good friend of the show, Jeremiah Searles, I saw him tweet it. A former Husker, played in the NFL. He's like, "What am I hearing right now?" It's like this is not a good thing at all.
He used to be on the radio network with them too.
Yeah, he did.
No doubt about it. So yeah, that's some newsworthy stuff at least on the Huskers. And week 2, we all know who they have. UND down there in Lincoln. We got head coach Matt Entz will be walking off the practice field here in roughly 8 to 10 minutes. He's doing some special teams work with the team, I guess I've been told. So you got to do that. Like we mentioned it last week. There's a kicking battle, special teams work. Maybe they're doing those kicks where you make it,
we're done.
Yeah. You miss it, we're running.
Simulate that that game type pressure, that atmosphere.
You got to somehow. You got to do it somehow. So maybe we'll ask him how the special teams work went at the end of practice when we have him on here in about 10 minutes. But that gives us enough time to go over a list that I didn't create, but somebody else created, and it is worthy of football bed music, I do say. So there we go. This is coming to us from NFL Network. So this is from the mothership. This is from NFL. Got the logos, got everything sanctioned from the National Football League. And it's coming from a former player in Maurice Jones-Drew. You never played against Maurice Jones-Drew, who had been retired a couple of years before you would have been playing.
I believe that is correct.
Yeah, mostly with Jacksonville, I think, for all of his career, or at very least most of his career. But he made a list, and he's not as good of a list maker as me, based off this list. He made a list of...
Let's not go that far.
The top 10 NFL quarterback and receiver duos. Not wide receiver duos, but receiver duos. This could be running backs, it could be tight ends, whatever. So he made a list of the top 10 quarterback and pass catcher duos. And you've seen this list now?
I've seen it. Yep, okay. I got it pulled up right here.
So the number one pair is Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. I don't think there's much of a debate about that one. They're great. They're phenomenal. They're super dynamic. Number 2, Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs. Well, very, very good. You've got maybe top 3 quarterback in the league and a top 5 receiver, you could argue, in the league in Stephon Diggs. Target share is outstanding there. So, yeah, that one makes a whole lot of sense. Number 3, Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp. Even with the shoulder injury here to Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp just had the triple crown and was phenomenal. So
you could have made an argument for them to be higher.
You absolutely
could have. Super Bowl, Cooper Kupp won the triple crown. They break all kinds of records and stuff, like Super Bowl MVP. I think they could have been higher, personally. But
yep, so they're number 3. Number 4, Derek Carr and Devontae Adams, who played together at Fresno State in college. This is their first year playing together in the NFL, obviously with Devontae going from Green Bay to Las Vegas. Number 5, you have to have Patrick Mahomes in here somewhere, but he doesn't have Tyreek Hill. So who do you throw in there? You throw in Travis Kelsey, who is a phenomenal tight end and is going to get a massive amount of targets here this season. So Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelsey come in at number 5. Any massive arguments with the top 5 there?
I mean, Derek Carr, Devontae Adams, I think that's going to be a good pair. You just don't know. I mean, yeah, they played together in college, but they haven't played together in a long time, 8-9 years. So I'm okay with them being on the list. I don't know if I'd have them that high. But as we get down the list, and you'll see, like, there's not as many as you would think. I was going through and I'm trying to think of some other ones. Now, there's one very blatant one that I know you'll get to, but
we'll get to it. Yeah,
there's not as many, so I'm okay with it. I think it's a little high for 4, just because they haven't played together.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously there's the Kirk Cousins, Justin Jefferson thing. Oh, we'll get to all of this here. The list isn't done. That's just the top 5. Number 6, Tom Brady and Mike Evans. Oh yeah, Mike Evans, a really good receiver, and Tom Brady's the GOAT. He's the best quarterback to ever play this game. So yeah, they come in at number 6. Number 7. Dak Prescott, and a wide receiver that everybody loves in fantasy because Amari Cooper is gone. CeeDee Lamb makes a lot of sense. Dak Prescott, I think, is slightly overrated, but CeeDee Lamb is phenomenal, and they are one of the top duos, and CeeDee Lamb's going to get a ton of targets. Number 8, and this is where I think it starts to get real interesting.
Really? I'm okay with number 8, I think.
Real interesting. Number 8, Justin Herbert and Keenan Allen. No debate on the talent there.
You don't like that one?
I know, I like that one. They should be in the top 10. But I think the one that hasn't been mentioned yet of where it should be slotting in at the very least.
I would agree.
Also, Mike Williams is a heck of a receiver. He's not Keenan Allen yet, but Keenan Allen's been hurt a lot. Like, maybe just this year, I might say Mike Williams might have more upside just because he's better chance of staying healthy. But Keenan Allen's really good, and Justin Herbert is absolutely phenomenal. There's no debate about that. Number 9, Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins at number 9. DeAndre Hopkins is going to miss the first 6 games of the year, and this was just on potential for this season. It has nothing to do with the past. There's potential for this season. Maurice Jones-Drew says Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins, who's going to miss the first 6 games of the season. And then at number 10, and there's one we haven't mentioned yet, at number 10 of the best wide receiver quarterback duos in the NFL, according to Maurice Jones-Drew, NFL Network, Jameis Winston and Michael Thomas at number 10.
Great pick.
I was shocked when I finally saw this. Was on August 16th, so a couple of days ago. I saw it yesterday, and I was like, what? This blew my mind. There is no Kirk Cousins or and Justin Jefferson on the list from Maurice Jones-Drew. This isn't just a Vikings fan. Justin Jefferson has more receiving yards than any receiver in the history of the NFL in the first 2 years of his career. And Kirk Cousins isn't an elite quarterback. Well, let's not act like he's a bottom 2 or 3 quarterback that's straight trash. He's thrown for like 4,000 yards and over 30 touchdowns both of the last couple of years.
Well, and number 10 is the one I really have the issue with. They're both coming off season-ending injuries. Michael Thomas hasn't played a game since 2020.
Yeah,
are you kidding
played
me?
In 2 years.
Come on, now I know he was phenomenal, but he's also getting the ball thrown to him by Drew Brees. A little bit better than Jameis Winston.
A little bit.
And again, Jameis Winston coming off an ACL tear, like, really going to throw those guys in there? And then the other one, I know you Viking fan. I agree with you, okay? I agree. Justin Jefferson, Kirk Cousins
be on the top 10.
Be on this list somewhere. The other one that I think you could throw in here, and again, I know he lost his best receiver, but like Aaron Rodgers isn't on this list. Was it Lazard or
Alan Lazard?
Maybe someone. I mean,
you can even throw Aaron Jones, who's a great pass catcher.
Right, someone like I don't know. I'm not mad I don't think he should be on this list more than Justin Jefferson and Kirk Cousins. But the fact that he's a 2-time MVP, like, and I know he lost to Devontae Adams, and that's why he's not on this list. But it's hard to keep him off. Now, I will say this and play devil's advocate a little bit. When you told me about this list, you were like, this is the worst list on earth. I can't wait to rip it apart. And I look at it, I was like, yeah, there's like 1 or 2 that are questionable. It's really because you're a Vikings fan. Let's be honest.
That's maybe why the hatred is backed up or amped up a little bit. But, like, you missed an egregious one.
You did. But you have to.
It's like if I make a top 10 and I'm like, oh, JMU's not in the top 10.
But if
they're clearly they're in the top 5.
If he didn't miss at least one really badly, would we even be talking about it? No.
Probably not.
No, we wouldn't.
But he did. He missed a bad one.
Exactly.
It wasn't one of the back of the 10.
About
it's
it.
like they're top 5.
Now his article's getting all these clicks. This was done on purpose.
It was done on purpose.
I'm calling it
Maurice
right now.
Jones, MJD.
But I mean,
also, I would put Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews up there.
I could.
I think they're a really good combination, especially in the red zone.
I think probably got looked over just because Lamar Jackson, right or wrong, is looked more as a runner still. Even is going into his 4th, 5th year. Like, he's still looked at more of a runner, so maybe that's why he's not on here. But you go through the league, and outside of the couple that we've mentioned, like, I don't know, maybe Russell Wilson and someone there in Denver.
Portland Sutton, who's really good.
I mean, maybe you could throw.
You would say Trey Lance and Debo. But Trey Lance, I made first year.
Again,
Tua and Tyreek Hill.
There's not a lot.
I could give you 10 combos that are better than Winston Thomas.
Yeah.
That weren't on the list.
For sure.
Like, that one is awful.
But outside of that one, who are you going to give me in? Yeah, I guess I would say Carson and Terry McLaurin is better than Jameis and
I would agree.
I would say that. Now, the national media wouldn't do that for us. But in Tennessee, probably
I'll give
not
you Davis Mills and Brandon Cooks are going to be better than Jameis Winston and Michael Thomas.
Hot take.
That's a hot
That's
take.
my hot take for Maurice Jones-Drew. A couple of, not your former teammates, I guess, if Davis Mills wasn't there, but a couple guys on
Cooks
the
was.
team you used to play with. How was Brandon Cooks?
He's a great guy.
Nice.
Yeah, he's good.
Been bounce around the league a little bit.
You're not going to get anyone in Cleveland. The Giants, no. The Jets, no. The Falcons, no. Bears, no. Seahawks, no. So, I mean, there's a lot of...
DK Metcalf's pretty good.
Yeah, but who's going to throw it to him? Geno Smith?
Exactly.
You know? So, I don't know. Not a great list, but not as bad as you made it out to be.
That's bad at the end.
It's an egregious
the bad
miss.
Ed.
The Vikings fans are staying together.
One really bad one.
You know what this
number
does?
10 was bad.
It's going to be, we're going to print this out. We're going to ship it to Egan, and we're going to mail it to Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson so they can put it in the locker. And every time they go to their locker, they see that they weren't on the list, and they got that chip on their shoulder.
Get out of here.
Every single day. It propels them to a 16-1 schedule with
you're such a typical
loss
super
against
fan. I'm going to be the reason.
Detroit Lions.
I'm going to be the reason the Vikings win this year. Come on.
Bet you they saw this and they're like, yeah, just how could you, Maurice Jones?
They're probably like, oh, man, we probably should have been on there. Moving on.
Yeah.
That's why Kirk swore in practice.
Darn right.
Yeah.
Darn right.
It was
he
the
did.
same day, wasn't it?
I think it was after the list came out.
It was the day after the list
the
came
day
out.
after.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was because this came out on Tuesday, I think.
Week
right?
1,
16th?
150 yards, 2 touchdowns to Justin Jefferson. Kirk walks off the field and goes, "You like that? You like that, Maurice Jones-Drew?" That's what he does. Guaranteeing it. Calling it right now, calling my shot on that one. So that was a big miss, I thought, from Maurice Jones-Drew. But overall, I guess I can't have too many massive complaints with the list. It was just the one you missed was a pretty egregious one.
Yeah, it was.
I get the feeling it was one of those things where Maurice Jones-Drew was told, like, oh, make this list, and he forgot about it until like a minute before or 2 minutes before, and then he just hastily made the list.
Or he made the list and was
something.
like, I'm going to put one really, really bad one on here so people like Andy Rickoff want to talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a lot of clicks on this article.
A lot of clicks.
Boom.
Publicity, people talking about it. It did work. Got me riled up.
That it did.
Little Rickoff's rant. A Maurice Jones-Drew list of quarterbacks and receivers. Let's jump over to the Epic Companies hotline right now, though. We got the head coach, Matt Entz, nice enough to give us some time walking off the practice field. Coach, great to have you on with us again. We heard there was some special teams work at the end of practice today. How'd that go?
It was good. About 2/3 of our practice was special teams and a lot of unique scenarios, situational football. You could say the entire game of football is all different scenarios, and we just want to make sure this is the first time we've covered a lot of them. We'll cover them probably 2 to 3 more times before our first game.
I think fans on the outside looking in probably say 2/3 of your practice special teams. That seems like a lot for just special teams. We all know it's not just special teams, but is that something you do often with that much special teams work?
We'll probably, today's our first day of really doing this, and we'll have one more day like it. It allows us to make an emphasis. We feel confident. We're excited about our special teams. It's something that's extremely important here. Everyone questions, how much time you put into special teams until they're not any good and they cost you a game. And so we're not in the business of trying to lose. We're in the business of trying to put ourselves in a good situation where we can be competitive every week. And these things matter. It's a difference between winning and losing. It's a difference between touchdowns and stops.
Coach, is this the day when you do the hands team competitions? You let the offensive linemen out there, and
we just got done with that.
Oh,
we just got done.
Yes, my favorite day.
We call some other people out of the crowd just to keep it. We had our Mason, our athletic trainer, went.
Good.
One of our gal equipment managers went. We got both of our new quality control coaches out there, but we got all our freshmen, O-linemen, quite a few people. I even called my son out just to make sure I knew he had some hands.
I hope we can get maybe a tweet or Instagram post there from the social media team, because I would love to see that. Did anyone stand out? Anyone stand out that you wouldn't expect?
We actually, the defensive line did an unbelievable job of catching punts today. Probably abnormally good. But it's fun. And the same old guys who had bad hands last year, guess what, Kyle? They still have bad hands.
That sounds about right.
Doesn't surprise me the defensive line was good. Best athletes on the field, right, Kyle?
100%.
That's right.
Best
That's
hands,
right.
Best athletes.
Anybody from years past doing that has stood out that fans wouldn't maybe know was decent at fielding punts?
Oh, man. I don't know if I can think of it. Some of the best ones are probably the staff we call out here. Kramer was out today. He caught his. He's like a vacuum. But it's I don't know if anyone stands up, but it's just a chance on a special team day to finish with some laughter and some smiles, and it's just one of those things we do every year and kind of becomes tradition at NDSU.
Yeah, and those are the things that help break up the monotony a little bit of fall camp. Again, Coach Entz here with us, walking off the practice field from basically week 3 of this whole thing being done. I know you started like half a week for the first week, but week 3 being done here, is this kind of the dog days of fall camp? What are these days like for you and the team?
Well, a little bit. Our guys, they had yesterday was a mandatory day off for NCAA rules, so we came back today, had a 2-hour good practice, meetings this morning. We'll finish up with meetings, walk through, and some other meetings tonight. But I think we're doing good. We're in a good spot right now. We got some guys who are battling some soft tissue injuries, but nothing that's severe, nothing that's going to hold anyone out that I see right now. We'll get some guys back daily. But really, tomorrow would be considered our final day of fall camp. School starting on Monday. That's kind of becomes our in-school routine, and it changes a little bit. And we go to more afternoon practices, and we've been mostly morning through fall camp.
Coach, you kind of just mentioned it right there, what I was going to ask you. At this point in fall camp, obviously things start to switch. You get into that routine of school and everything, but when do you really start dialing in on week 1 opponent and really get into the game plan for that first game against Drake?
That'll be Monday, Kyle. I believe my philosophy is 10 days before your first game, start game planning for game number 1. And because you're not only game planning offense and defense, but you're also, just like today, you're game planning for all the situations that you could see throughout the entire season. And so punting out of your own end zone, punting as the last play of the game, punting after a safety, punting after a penalty, all those things have to be covered in depth, just to make sure that our kids are on the right page. So this morning I had a football 101, we call it. I probably do it once, twice a week. And we had talked about just unique kicking situations and understanding the difference between free kicks and, kick from scrimmage, and just educating our guys. So when those moments show up, it's not the first time we've ever seen them.
There's another thing with that, kind of the fielding of kicks too, what the rules are, where you can field it, or if you can just let it go, and fair catches and all that kind of stuff.
All that stuff.
Yep.
All that. And today we actually practiced in the dome today because it was a special teams practice. I wanted our returners to have to return the ball with the backdrop of the ceiling, involved. Mm-hmm. It's catching it outside with the blue sky there. versus in the dome where we have all the lights on like it's game day. We have all the jumbo boards on. I wanted to try to create as much distraction for our specialists and our receivers and skill kids as I could in the dome. And that's one of those things that sometimes you don't think about until it's too late.
And Coach Matt Entz here with us after walking off the practice field from another practice for the Bison. Where do you stand on some of those position battles we've talked with you about before, especially at the 2 linebacker spots?
I feel pretty good. I don't think we're ready to name anyone yet. We still got some things going on, but both guys have done a great job at that Mike linebacker position. We've also, have created and built depth at the Will linebacker spot, and I think that Sam linebacker spot, you could see that being manned by committee for maybe a week or two, and which I think is probably pretty consistent with what we've done over the years. Defensively, we play a lot of people, and that includes D-line, that includes in the back end, it also includes linebackers. So we just got to make sure we're all prepared and ready to go.
Coach, we also, me and Andy have talked a lot about this in studio, but we're talking, a little bit of a competition going on there at kicker, and we're talking about how you simulate game-like situations and the pressure put on kickers. And I had some of my own ideas that we did when I was still playing, but can you kind of describe what you do for the kickers and what kind of situations you try to put them in practice?
Yep. Well, today was a great example. We tried to finish with a little bit of pressure, not only on our kickers, but on our long snappers as well. Trying to, we needed to make 3 straight field goals to finish practice. And, we put something, there was something on, if we didn't do it, we were going to do this. If we did, we were going to head right off the field, and we weren't going to, the physical practice was over. And so, but again, just trying to add stress, water, getting water on, dunking the football in water for the long snappers, just making sure that we're prepared, rainy day, dry day, whatever it might be, sweaty hands, that we're ready to go. Some of the other things we do in practice is, I'll have our punt team run out in the middle of practice from all over the field, and we got to get lined up. We got to execute. We don't have any time to wait around, but I have to be able to transition from maybe Indy to punt on the whistle and trying to emulate what happens all of a sudden. A defensive guy's on the sideline talking to Coach Braun, and bam, I got to go protect on punt right now. And we need to be able to react and respond to those stimuli.
What's the wide receiver position looking like? I think we all know the guys at the top of that room, but there is as much talent as there's ever been in that room this year. How's that battle ensued?
Well, it's gone well. I don't know if I'd necessarily even call it a battle. We're going to play a bunch of guys. Zach Mathis is back in practice, which is good right now. Excited to have him practicing. Just adds another set of legs. But he has great knowledge of the position too. He's been here for a number of years, and we just got to do a good job of keeping him healthy week to week. But Rajah Nelson, Braylon Henderson, Jacob Lippy, DJ Hart, Tyler Terhart, GC, all those guys have roles and will be utilized throughout the year, not only on offense, but they're all great special teams players as well.
I don't know if anybody's passed this along to you yet, but Zach Mathis did tell us when he was working here he wanted a defensive rep or two, if possible.
Yeah.
So.
We just need to get him healthy so he can play on offense right now.
There you go.
Yeah.
Again, Coach Entz here with us. One more question from me, and we can let you go here. I don't know if you've seen the news just because you're so hyper-focused on your team, of course, right now, but the news last night that Montana State's got a little bit of an NIL collective going on out there. How much do you keep monitoring those type of things and monitoring the future of how you go about recruiting with that stuff?
Well, yeah, I did see it this morning, of course. It was probably sent to me by a dozen people who, have a passion for NDSU. I mean, it is what it is, and I don't think NILs and collectives are going away. So, here at NDSU, we need to identify how this can work for us. I don't think we can put our head in the sand and anticipate it's going to go away, because I don't think it is. This is 2022; it's not 2018 anymore, and college athletics have changed. I've had great conversations with our administration. I know our administration have talked to some people. I think there's things, there's conversations being had here at what does it look like if something like this were to come up at NDSU. But, at the same time, Montana State doesn't have cost of attendance. And so, we're still doing some pretty unique things here that a lot of, that really only mid-major programs do. And, we're going to recruit based on winning championships, playing good football and walking out of here with the tools to be successful in life.
Yeah, cost of attendance in a beautiful new state-of-the-art indoor practice facility
exactly
that is coming just around the corner as well. No doubt about it. Did you see the drone out at practice? We saw the drone footage. Did you get to catch it?
That was a pretty cool deal. No, that thing was low flying at times.
Yeah.
I felt like it was in my ear a couple times. But that is cool. Our marketing people, Scott Anderson over in the Shack, and Allison Vanderstein, those guys do an unbelievable job of helping promote our program, helping fill the seats, getting our fans in touch with our players. Those guys are critical. They're part of our team, even though that sometimes they're just not necessarily right with us physically.
Well, it's awesome. We like to see it as well. Congratulations on another week done in fall camp, and we'll catch up with you again next week, Coach.
You bet. You take care. Thanks, guys.
There he goes, head coach Matt Entz. Nice enough to give us some time walking off of the field once again. Your thoughts on what he said there about the NIL and collectives?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of exactly what I thought he would say. You know, they've discussed it. I did not know that Montana State did not have cost of attendance. So they're right there. That's, you know, even again, like we talked about a number. What if the number is $5,000? I think NDSU gives $2,500, something like that a semester. So right there, you cut it in half right off the bat with the cost of attendance thing. It's basically the exact same, you know, cost of attendance, NIL, whatever. It doesn't matter where the money's coming from. It's the same thing there. So kind of exactly what I would have expected him to say.
Mentioned that there's been conversations.
Yeah, exactly. NDSU is very good at looking forward while also staying present and focusing, right here on what needs to happen here and now. So it doesn't surprise me that they've at least looked into it. They've talked about it, and whether they move forward or not, that's as they say above my pay grade. So we'll let them deal with that.
Thankfully, I'm not the one making those decisions.
Exactly.
Because I probably wouldn't make the right one. We'll take a break. We'll come back, continue here in hour number 2 of the program next.
Champions play here. Your home for the Thundering Herd. Bison 1660.
People experiencing mental health conditions can often face rejection, bullying, and discrimination. This can make their journey to recovery longer and more difficult. Lakeland Mental Health Center encourages everyone to get rid of the stigma surrounding mental health. Mental illness can happen to anyone. Educate yourself and others and talk openly about mental health. LMHC can help you to know the facts and reach out to those around you with mental illness. Lakeland Mental Health Center, here today for a better tomorrow.
When it's time to find a realtor, word of mouth is important, and Todd Cattermas with Beyond Realty is a name Bison Nation says often. Todd has helped everyone from coaches and administrators to broadcasters and former players and their families buy homes in the FM area. So many in Bison Nation trust Todd to buy and sell their homes, and you can too. Call Todd Cattermas with Beyond Realty today or visit him in person at 4832 Amber Valley Parkway in Fargo. Todd is a proud partner and the preferred realtor of NDSU Athletics. Todd Cattermas with Beyond Realty, moving the herd one home at a time.
Hey, it's Chris Hansen. In the summer, the bugs are unlimited, and the amount that end up on your bumper and windshield are also unlimited. So join my wife and I and get the unlimited car wash pass from Tommy's Express Car Wash. We use the unlimited Works Wash, and it makes the bugs disappear. Plus all the dirt from gravel roads, rain, and whatever else finds our car. Just download the Tommy's Express app, sign up for unlimited washes, and drive through any of their 3 locations as many times as you want. Get unlimited with the locally owned Tommy's Express Car Wash. Love your ride.
Have you experienced what Catalyst Clinical Spa can do for you? We have created an oasis backed by a highly trained team and a diverse mix of treatments and devices. We have multiple options and technologies at multiple price points for the same skin and body concerns. From natural and non-invasive to powerful and proactive, our collaborative team is here to create a customized plan for you. Call Catalyst at 701-365-8700. Option 2 to schedule a complimentary consult.
Take care of your property with equipment you can count on, like the Kubota BX and L Series compact tractors, part of our under 100 horsepower tractor lineup rated #1 for reliability, and Z Series mowers and Sidekick utility vehicles, where durability meets speed. Visit your local Kubota dealer for a demo today. Go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Kubota of the Lakes has you covered for all your lawn care equipment and service needs. Kubota of the Lakes, Highway 10, Detroit Lakes, or online at KubotaoftheLakes.com. The construction is almost done at the Gateway Clearance Center, and the construction sale is going strong. No negotiations necessary, and payments starting as low as $99 a month. That's right, payments starting at just $99 a month at the Gateway Clearance Center, with a great selection of clean used cars, trucks, and SUVs. And right now, every vehicle is sale priced. enjoy extra discounts for the construction sale going on now at Gateway Clearance Center on South University Drive in Fargo or online at fmclearancecenter.com.
He played professional football, and the other guy obsesses over his fantasy football team.
Every year I set this league up. Every year, and I never win. This was the year.
It's Kyle Emanuel and Andy Rickoff, the Insiders, on Bison 1660.
Welcome back on in. 12:31 the time here on the Insiders, brought to you by Theraldson Ethanol inside our Theraldson Ethanol Broadcast Center. Theraldson Ethanol is one of the nation's largest ethanol facilities, a 175 million gallon per year ethanol plant located just west of Castleton. Fuel your future by joining the growing team today. View open positions at theraldsonethanol.com. 175 million gallons, that's a lot every single year, but it pales in comparison, Kyle Emanuel, to what the Big Ten got in their new media deal, $1 billion a year, 7-year deal. $7 billion for the Big Ten. This is one of the reasons why USC and UCLA went out there. The Pac-12's deal is not good. It's been bad for a long time. Schools have been losing money compared to other institutions, and it will continue because the Big Ten's deal, when you add UCLA and USC, got that much bigger. And I think there was some pay on the potential here. Some of it was paying for potential, like with a star player. You're playing like, I'm going to pay you because I think you're going to be good. I think some of the money coming from some of these media outlets was, I'm paying for the potential of, you might get Oregon. You might get Notre Dame. You just might do it. And so we want to pay a little extra and make sure we got a piece of the pie for the next 7 years. What do you make of $7 billion? And Big Ten, these media deals are going to continue this direction. The SECs will be there. The ACCs, the Big 12s, they'll be in the billions.
Yeah, well, I think it's interesting that they signed, and you would probably know more about this than me, Andy. They signed it with CBS, Fox, and NBC. So and the NBC thing is intriguing to me because we all know NBC covers Notre Dame. They have like exclusive rights with Notre Dame. So is that a little foreshadowing there that Notre Dame is going to be joining the Big Ten, or at least maybe this was something that they did to sweeten the deal for Notre Dame? Like, hey, here we go. Look at all the money we have here. Look at the money we can get for you. Oh, by the way, we also signed with your already now media rights person or your media rights broadcasting company that you're working with now. So to me, it's a little bit of foreshadowing. I think, like you said, I think they definitely looked at some of the schools and the potential that those schools and the revenue they could bring in when signing this deal, because it is massive. I think the last one they signed was like $2 billion over probably around the same time period or something like that.
It's not $1 billion a year.
And now it's $1.2 billion a year or something like that to be spread out through the school. So more than enough to keep adding schools, to expand a little bit more. I think, if anything, this just kind of confirms in my mind that these super conferences are coming. And I don't think these conversations are going away. Like I know it's kind of settled down now. The dust has settled for a little bit when it comes to college expansion and everything going on there. I don't think they're going away. I think we'll see more moves. I don't know when. To me, maybe I'm just naive, but to me, it seems like they just pop up out of nowhere. You don't see it coming. Oklahoma, Texas, boom, gone.
Mm-hmm.
Going to SEC.
When you don't hear about it.
USC, UCLA, boom, going to the Big Ten. It's like, what? Where did that come from? But I think it's going to happen again. I don't know when. Obviously, I don't know when, but I think it's going to happen again.
Yeah, and $7 billion over 7 years. I agree with you. The fact that it is Fox, CBS, and NBC. By the way, CBS dropped like their music, like their classic intro for college football. Like I think when you hear it, you kind of know what it is.
Yeah. Yep.
And they overlaid it with Big Ten highlights and said Big Ten, we're coming, and everyone was like freaking out because CBS has always been the SEC.
Yeah.
Like that's the sound music for the SEC. We can't have that for the Big Ten, and it's like, no, that's CBS, and now it's just going to be with the Big Ten, and ESPN's going to have more coverage, I would think, of the SEC, and it's going to be a little bit different. But I agree with you. The fact that NBC gets a piece of this pie, the AD at Notre Dame, Jack Swarbrick, came out and said, I think this is good for Notre Dame because now you have an outlet that has, they're going to have more games on their channel, and it's going to be a chance for them to promote their upcoming games for Notre Dame that they're also going to be covering. So more chance to even promote Notre Dame even further. Nicole Auerbach of The Athletic had an article, and she had a quote from Jack Swarbrick asking him, do you think Notre Dame for the next couple of years is going to be in a position to stay independent? His quote was just, I hope so. I I think there's going to be movement. I don't think it's going to be this year or next year, but I think there's going to be some movement here in the next couple of years of Notre Dame to a conference. And if I'm the Big Ten and I have NBC and I have that partner that's been with them since the get-go, and I have that opportunity or the ability for their games to continue to be on that network, I think it puts them a step ahead. And I would think that in the next couple of years they will be in the Big Ten.
I'm looking at this article here, and I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what they're going off of here, but maybe it's just in general, an average. It says that the Big Ten schools separate themselves from the rest of major college football, with their schools making at least $30 million more annually compared to the rest of the FBS.
Mm-hmm.
That's a significant amount of money, and that's, like you said, that's exactly why UCLA, USC, some of these other schools might come and join the Big Ten and become really, and it almost seems to me now it's them and the SEC, and then who's going to be that third one?
Who's going to try? Can the Pac-12 and Big 12 go together, make something happen? We've heard that's off. They're not going to do that, but they might have to really survive and keep themselves at the same level of these other conferences. And what do you do in the future going forward if you're some of those teams out there that were thinking about possibly leaving or going to a different conference, and conference realignment definitely puts the pressure on them, no doubt about it. And another reason why schools are getting $1 billion a year, why players want a piece of that pie. And again, don't blame them one bit. It's a changing landscape, and it's big money. It's not just small, little, cute college football anymore. It is big time money. We'll take a break, though. We'll come back, and we'll play my conversation with offensive line coach Dan Larson on the other side here on The Insiders.
Champions play here.
You're vice president material. You're vice president material.
Bison 1660.
Remember checking the markets back in the day? If you go way back, they moved about a nickel a year. It was up a penny, the word spread through party lines, and everybody revved up their single axes with no hoist and motored to town. Then came the 70s with a Russian grain deal, tandems and limit moves on the grains, 30 cents beans. The radio was just starting to have closes, and sometimes the 6 o'clock news had markets. Nowadays, almost everyone has semi, and you have text alerts from your favorite market analysis. Memories, need seed, think proceed.
If you're in the market for a new or used truck or SUV, check out Muscatel Burns Ford in Holly. They're the only area Ford dealership to be awarded Ford's Elite 2021 President's Award for first-rate service. Muscatel's is known for their low prices, good selection, and exceptional service. So the next time you're cruising around, stop in Muscatel Burns Ford, just 20 minutes from Moorhead on Highway 10 in Holly. Hey, get your next Ford from Ward.
Dakota Refrigeration has been helping the Bison succeed behind the scenes. From their training room to their dining room, from milk to medicine, from ice to ice cream, Dakota Refrigeration has been serving Minnesota, Montana, and the Dakotas for over 4 decades. Locally owned and operated since 1974, Dakota Refrigeration is a full-service source for your refrigeration, heating, ventilation, air conditioning, and electrical needs. Dakota Refrigeration, located in Fargo, Bismarck, and Minot.
Yeah, this was pretty wild, especially for us.
I heard about this, but I just thought, YOLO.
We were both a little, but experimenting's fun.
When I found out he was into it, I was like, yep, let's just do it.
Hard tea, lemonade, same time? What?
Nice hard teas, half and half, is something we both could drink and enjoy together.
Nice hard teas, half and half. I ain't never going back.
Half and half, whoop whoop.
Oh, calm down, honey, they get it.
Oh, sorry.
Slam summer.
Nice hard tea. Drink hard, play nice. Nice. Party responsibly.
No matter where you work, whether it's at your kitchen table or in the office, you need to collaborate with your team. ProConnect from Consolidated Communications makes it happen. You'll never miss a call when you can answer from your desk phone, laptop, or cell phone. And you can communicate instantly using real-time messaging. Confidently connect with customers over secure video conferencing and work together to create and share documents. Get ready to connect, collaborate, and communicate brilliantly. Choose ProConnect, your team collaboration tool from Consolidated Communications.
Here's your Red River Valley weather update on Bison 1660.
The rain is sticking around, an 80% chance of some showers, 73 degrees for a high. Tonight will cool down into the low 60s and a 30% chance of some thunderstorms. This weather update brought to you by Minn Kota Windows. Just when your kids thought it was time to head outside, a storm hits. Trust Minn Kota Windows. Minn Kota's high-quality vinyl windows will keep them and your home safe. Weather the storm with Minn Kota Windows. Midwest built, Midwest tough. Guaranteed for life.
You hear that? The herd is headed your way. You're hearing from the Insiders right here on Bison 1660.
Welcome back to The Insiders, brought to you by Proseed, home of the Right Choice and Right Stuff programs, online at proseed.net. If you need seed, think Proseed. The doctor himself, Wes Offerman, with a tweet yesterday as he was going through NFL rosters, saying that I think he found somebody else who had gone through all the NFL rosters and marked off how many players from each school were on NFL rosters currently, and 16 for NDSU. That's a pretty good number. Take that number, and it's going to continue to grow, because I think there's going to be a few that'll be on rosters again next season. We're kind of on watch for Josh Babich and, of course, for Braden Thomas as well, guys that were undrafted free agents this year. But Cordell Volson's making the roster, might be making the starting lineup, and obviously Christian Watson will be making the roster as well. And we'll see if everybody else does. I think Chris Board's in line for possibly a starting job at linebacker with the Detroit Lions. A position group that has a lot of pro bison is the offensive line room. Always a lot of pro bison out of that group. And the guy that coaches the offensive line for NDSU is Dan Larson. Had to ask him first at NDSU Media Day. Year number 4 for you as a coach here on staff with NDSU. Does that feel a little weird to say?
Yeah, it really has been. I think obviously we had the COVID year where we had 2 seasons back-to-back. And
that's weird for everything, yeah.
Weird for everything, and it I think made time fly by even that much more. But, yeah, certainly year 4, it's kind of crazy to think about. It's also a good thing, I think, that has gone by as fast as it has. It means that you're enjoying what you're doing. Time flies by when you're having fun.
And you've had a lot of good players to coach in that position group that you're coaching now, at least. And we were talking earlier with Cody Malk, and he said he hasn't come up with any new first down celebrations yet, but he's going to get together with the entire team, the whole group, and they're going to brainstorm some stuff. Have they asked you at all for your recommendations on celebrations for first downs?
They haven't. They have not. I'm just happy that we get them. That's my biggest deal. So if we have celebrations, that usually means that things are hopefully going in a good direction for us.
Just keep getting the first downs and the touchdowns. That's what we want. Keep moving the ball. For the offensive line, no position group really emulates, I think, Bison football. When you just say, what is Bison football? Like the offensive line seems to emulate it better than any other position group. And I'm sure they kind of wear that with a badge of honor. Is that something you guys talk about at all in the room?
I think I talk about it beginning of fall camp every year. I talk about it certainly when we bring players in to go through a recruiting process. It was one of the things that was incredibly humbling about taking on that role as an assistant coach here, just knowing the importance that this room has been a part of as many great teams NDSU has had. You certainly hear things talked about how it starts at the line of scrimmage. So we talk about it in fall camp. It's a privilege to play here. It's a privilege to be a part of this room and this is in that unit. And the fact that the fan base, the community, the alumni, celebrate offensive line play here. And so we just want to try to do it as best as we possibly can. Coach Roll wants everybody to do things better than it's ever been done before, which is a pretty high bar when you start talking about the offensive line here at NDSU.
Yeah, it's not that we're everywhere, but offensive line play is celebrated, it seems like, in Fargo and in North Dakota. Again, here with offensive line coach Dan Larson. You lose one guy, you lose a very good guy in Cordell Volson, obviously, to the NFL. So you have that one open spot from last year, but it doesn't necessarily mean that all the other four guys, your job's safe, because I know you got a deep room there. What's the competition been like for that one starting spot from last year, and maybe trying to unseat some guys that were starters a year ago?
Yeah, no, I think competition is healthy. I think, similar to when, Cordell even started last fall, we moved from right tackle to guard. I mean, there was things that we were working around, and I think we always kind of understand, like, you're trying to groom those next guys because you're going to have good players that are going to leave. So we've got great competition at that right tackle spot. Right now, Mason and Jake Rock have taken the majority of those reps that have been there. Jalen Sundell has taken some of those as well too, because Brandon Westbrook jumped in and played a lot of football snaps for us last year. I think we have a lot of people that can jump in and play multiple different roles here. And the biggest thing we come out of depth is we have 7 guys that have played a ton of football, for us. And really, I would say even, potentially even 8 have played a lot of football for us, and they can all play some different positions. So come out of fall camp healthy, have created depth. The right tackle position will sort itself out because competition always seems to create the best out of individual players. And through 6 days we've had so far, I've been really pleased with how everybody has taken the room there.
Yeah, you mentioned Jalen Sundell, maybe center to right tackle, or you move some guys around. I know in years past it's been, I don't care if you played every snap. Dylan Raytons, I don't care if you played every snap at left tackle. I'm going to put you at right guard. I'm going to put you at center. You're going to be doing some different things here, and we're going to make you uncomfortable. Is that still the practice, and what's the goal of that?
Well, I think the goal is, from an individual technique standpoint, there's not a lot of differences at times in downs 1 and 2 for how football is played. It's run blocking or it's play action pass, it's boot. There's a lot of different things from a positional standpoint when you're a guard versus a tackle, third downs. You're getting into pass rush situations. Now, defensively, they're changing their mindset and their mentality a little bit. But the goal is that when you move some guys around, is that all of a sudden they just start to understand a little bit like, well, this is really the same thing I was doing at this position. I just switched my feet around a little bit. Third down, oh, man, these guys got it tough out here. Or these guys have to battle a little bit more inside. Like, I actually have it easy playing out here. Or it's a lot harder inside than what I thought. But I think the biggest part of it is that you're just trying to create, I think, from their standpoint, understanding that all of our plays are either going to go to the left or they're going to go to the right. Your first 2 steps got to get in the ground no matter which direction it has. Hand placement's really important. We always want to get to our aiming points. And then I think it grows a little bit of confidence in those guys as well, too, knowing that they can do something besides just one position.
And Coach Entz had his press conference. He talked about Gray Zagel quite a bit, was asked a couple questions on him, and that's a guy who played a lot in that spring season for you as a true freshman, and then different things happen. He's not playing a whole lot last fall. Obviously some injuries to him, too, with that ankle. Seems like he's back 100% healthy, ready to go. What have you seen in his development?
Well, Gray is very athletic. He wants to be really good. You can see that in his determination of his technique and understanding of the playbook, understanding different techniques that are defensive playing, alignments of linebackers, and how that might adjust at times, some things that guys are doing, both when he was playing last fall and then obviously going against our defense. What I've seen from him is a real desire to be good. Left guard, right guard, takes pre-practice snaps at center, asks questions on a daily basis about a technique. Can I work on this today? Hey, what did you see yesterday when I did that part of it? We put him at right tackle a couple times. We put him at left tackle. He's a guy that's got a lot of versatility to his game, wants to be really good. I'm really excited about Gray. However our starting 5 plays out, he's going to be a guy that's been getting reps this year for sure.
How big is that ogre spot, too? People talk, we want to be a starter, but if you're not, there's another kind of spot out there that's basically an offensive lineman.
Well, and to Coach Roll's credit, it's a way to keep everybody on their toes in terms of when you could be ready to play. I think about a couple years ago, Cody Malk being the main ogre guy for us, his standpoint just, I think it increased his entire development because it was 15 to 20 plays. He had to be ready to go. We're going to run the ball. Everyone knows we're going to run the ball. We've got really good play action stuff. We have talented receivers that are off that. Like, there's a lot of different ways that you can get 6-0 linemen or 7-0 linemen on a field at one point in time. I think what that does, it keeps our guys on toes. Like, they got to continue, even if they're not a starter, they got to continue to understand how to play the game, how to work, try to still be the best football player they can because they know maybe there's another role out there for them to get some snaps in a game.
Last one for you. You lose Cordell. He was the chief ram. He was the guy. He was the leader. You had other leaders last year, 2 guys that have played a lot of snaps. I think most fans, at least on the outside, are saying, okay, it's Cody Malk. He's the chief ram. He's the guy there. What's that transition been like from a leadership standpoint, just those small little things that Cordell would do? Yeah, I think the biggest part of it is that we do have a lot of other guys that have had to have leadership roles. I think if there's one thing COVID gave us, it was guys that had to – some guys were gone for a certain period of time. Here's other guys that are in the room. Like, you have to be the leader. Cody has obviously taken a huge step up, but Nash has taken a huge step up. Jalen Sundell has taken a huge step up. We've seen a lot of growth from Jake Kubis, guys that have been around a little bit. I will say this to Cordell's credit last year. He might have done a lot of talking on Saturday mornings before games or maybe even during a game, halftime. But all those guys took their own leadership roles throughout the course of a week. I think he saw a big picture, just, I'm not going to be here, and these other guys need to develop. These other guys need to see Cody, Nash, Jalen be leaders as well, too. It just can't all come from me. I thought that was really impactful. I think it's helped ease the room a little bit into this next variation, this 2022 variation of what the Rams room is. All those guys have played a lot of football. They're all looked upon for a lot of different reasons. We might have lost one really great leader. We've got a bunch of really great leaders that are still in that room, and I'm excited about every single one of them. Like I said earlier, I don't think any position group emulates Bison football more than the offensive line, and the guy that leads that Rams room, Dan Larson, here, nice enough to give us some time. Coach, appreciate the time. Thanks for coming on with us, and looking forward to getting this season going.
We're looking forward to it, too. Trust me. Thank you.
Offensive line coach, you can pause that one down. Offensive line coach Dan Larson there, nice enough to give us some time back at NDSU Media Day. We'll take a break. We'll come back and wrap up the show here on a Friday next.
Always having a good time, but never letting it get out of hand.
I approach you from the front and kind of like, wow, this dude's pretty serious. Then I walk away and like, he likes to party with 2 R's.
You've got the Insiders on Bison 1660.
What's cooler than heating your water with an electric water heater?
Let me think about that.
Saving money at the same time.
Yeah, that is cool.
With an electric water heater, you can cut your electricity rates in half with off-peak heating. It's efficient, too. And you can get up to $700 just for installing one.
I like what I'm hearing.
It's the smart and cool way to heat your water. Visit CassCountyElectric.com to learn more about saving with an electric water heater.
When you're making decisions about your ag operation finances, you need access to the experts. This is Scott Solandic with Cornerstone Bank. Whether you're just starting your operation or looking to grow, we're here to talk you through those financial decisions. We're the kind of people who get to know you and genuinely appreciate your needs. If you're looking for a bank that's been specializing in ag banking for generations, come see us at Cornerstone Bank.
Cornerstone Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Recovering after an illness or injury can be hard. You want to find people to help you who have the skills to help you succeed, but also who make you feel comfortable, heard, and share your values. At Ethos Home Healthcare, our faith plays a huge role in our care. Meet James, a physical therapist assistant at Ethos.
I choose to work for Ethos because they're a faith-based company. And being a home health agency where we're caring for people, I believe faith and compassion is very important because that's why we all went into the healthcare field.
Learn more about Ethos at ethoscare.org.
NDSU football takes the field September 3rd on Bison 1660. We're here with you before the game.
Andy Rickoff and James Hendricks here with you on Bison Game Day, getting you ready for NDSU football.
During the game.
Looking over center, it's caught! It's a touchdown! It's a touchdown!
And after the game.
Welcome into Bison Hotline. Andy Rickoff, James Hendricks, Chris Hansen here with you on the show.
A full game day of green and gold every Saturday. The national champions play here on Bison 1660.
With over 900 vehicles in stock, Corwin Auto has you covered.
Looking for better fuel economy?
We have it with hybrids and electric vehicles.
Need more room for that growing family?
We have it. Upgrade to a van, SUV, or crossover.
Need more horsepower to work and play harder?
We have the biggest selection of new and used trucks in the area. Get exactly what you are looking for and don't settle when you can shop over 900 vehicles on the lot and ready for immediate delivery. Corwin Auto has you covered. Shop online, corwinauto.com.
Are you a business owner with remodel plans in the near future? When it comes to your electrical needs, you only need one call, and that's to JDP Electric. JDP's team of professionals will work with you closely and are able to follow a strict timeline to get your project done when it's needed. That way, you don't have to worry about closing your doors and missing any customers or sales. Put your company in the best hands by calling JDP right away. Call 701-232-1991 today to experience the JDP difference or online at jdpelectric.net.
Theraldson Ethanol, the ethanol plant located in Castleton, North Dakota, is accepting applications for a process operator. Work 4 days on, 4 days off, night and day swing shifts. Applicant must have a general understanding of process and operating procedures and a willingness to learn procedures for the ethanol industry. Theraldson Ethanol offers on-the-job training and an excellent benefits program. Email your resume to rcarter@theraldsonethanol.com or apply in person at 3549 153rd Avenue Southeast in Castleton, North Dakota.
UFC 278 is going down. For the first time in 7 years, Kamaru Usman and Leon Edwards are meeting face-to-face in the octagon since their first fight. Usman, the Nigerian Nightmare, holds the belt. Can Leon Rocky Edwards take the win in their welterweight title bout? Get to Twin Peaks for every second of knockout action. Contact your favorite lodge for availability and cover charge info. Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
When it comes to shopping for your kiddos, you have to check out Tootsie's Children's Boutique. Whether you need outfits for daycare, family pictures, or loungewear, Tootsie's has everything you need for your little miss or little man sizes preemie to 7. I love shopping for my kiddos at Tootsie's, and I know you will too. With fall right around the corner, make sure to follow them on Facebook and Instagram to see all their new arrivals. Shop in store at the shops at Blue 32 or online at tootsiesfargo.com. Tootsie's Children's Boutique, where style is born.
Hi, it's Kelly, and I want to tell you about my
my great experience with Valley Service Mechanical. They were polite and very easy to deal with. They were knowledgeable and helped me understand every step of the process. From the initial discussion of purchase options to the installation, it was a top-notch experience. If you ever want to work with professionals, I would strongly recommend Valley Service Mechanical.
When your heating and cooling needs help and your plumbing is on the fritz, call Valley Service Mechanical, 701-293-5701. Online at valleyservice.net.
We all want to be part of a winning team, right? Hi, this is Marcus with Steamatic, and I am very proud of our team. Industry experts have voted Steamatic the best method of cleaning with our patented steam cleaning process, our 24-hour service, and highly trained technicians. We do it all from carpet cleaning, air duct cleaning, fire and water damage restoration, and remember, Bison fanatics choose Steamatic.
Steamatic, call 232-4707.
You work hard to make your house a home, and at Onyx Exteriors, we strive to make the outside of your home as warm and inviting as the inside. I'm Blake.
And I'm Ray, owners of Onyx Exteriors. We install the industry's top brands in seamless steel, wood, vinyl, specialty products, as well as gutters, windows, and doors.
And all at a great price. We personally work with you from the estimate to the installation to guarantee your satisfaction.
So whether it's a remodel or new construction, schedule a free estimate online at onyxnd.com.
It's almost time for the Western Minnesota Steam Threshers reunion in Rolog, Minnesota. Join them Labor Day weekend, September 2nd through the 5th, for an exciting and fun-filled weekend for the whole family. This year features Rumley Oil pull tractors and machinery, including the arrival of Kerosene Annie. Enjoy 2 parades daily, plus horsepower demonstrations, ladies' activities, vintage style shows, kids' activities, and more. Labor Day weekend, September 2nd through the 5th in Rolog, Minnesota. For more information, visit rolog.com.
This is NDSU head men's basketball coach Dave Richmond, and you're listening to The Insiders on your home for NDSU athletics, Bison 1660.
Final segment and a quick one for you on this Football Friday. Thanks for making us a part of your day and your week. I want to also let you guys know, in case you didn't hear earlier in the week, a new Bison 1660 YouTube page has been created. We've got one for you now on YouTube there. Just find Bison 1660 there when you go to that site. Trying to get to that 100 subscribers so we can get our own custom URL and stuff. We're getting close, so go there, follow us, subscribe to the Bison 1660 YouTube page. Player interviews, different things. We're going to have the shows up there as well. So all the latest info right there for you on our YouTube page, Bison 1660. Anything crazy in the world of golf in 2 minutes?
Oh, we got the BMW Championship going on right now.
I'm
not exactly sure who's leading, but so this is the last tournament before the last tournament.
And then we'll see
that makes sense. So
Cam Smith,
top 30
tour.
Yeah, so we got the top 30 that are going to be playing next week. So if you're not inside the top 30 of the FedEx standings, your season's done.
And Tom Hoagie is inside the top 30
he
coming
is,
into this week.
He was coming in, I think he was like 21, 22, somewhere around there.
Week.
So had a solid week, and he'll be playing for the FedEx Cup Championship next
Anything
week.
big this weekend for you?
Yeah, Hawaii.
Oh, yeah. You got to pack still.
I still got to pack.
Oh,
yeah.
packing. Just
I'll figure
terrible.
it out.
That'll do it for us. Big thanks to Matt Entz, everybody else. Thanks to you for listening. Back with you again next week, just 2 weeks away from NDSU football.
Jeremy here at Horsch in Mapleton. If you're interested in a career change, we have openings in manufacturing, safety, office roles, and would love to have you join our team. Horsch is a family-owned farm machinery business that offers competitive pay, full benefits, and paid family time from Christmas to New Year's. Visit us at horsch.com to apply today.